Another man done gone. Another man done gone from the county from another.
It's Jax.
man done
What up,
gone.
Dollars? Let's go.
Martin Luther had a dream, but Freddy Krueger had a Ruger. Ex-Malcolm out the picture, so now we back to the future. Now we back to these losers embracing death like they used to. Poking out they chest, but listen, son, now you leaking that future. So who's the shooter? Is it your man? Or was it a fan? Or was it a stand? I would beg to differ. In hindsight, I bet you he say he was not a nigga. Plus Biggie Smalls was just minding his business, yo. Smoking an Optimo. Somebody got to drop the homie Biggie has got to go. And they couldn't stop it, no, I wish that they could. Yeah, the world needs change, but man, I wish that we would. So why the long frown? A man harmed from a 4-pound. His blood ripples on the floor from the war sound. His mama sitting at the wake, hoping the Lord's found. Another dead, another gone now. Damn.
Another man done gone. Another man done gone from the county from another man done gone.
George Eliot said that it's best to be what you wanna be. Fucking do what you wanna do, so I do what I wanna do. Bet you did it to floss. Bitch, I did what I wanted. Bet you did it and lost. Bitch, I did it and won it. Shit, I'm never coming back. Listen, I just wanna rap. Gee, I told you all of that. On about a dozen tracks. I don't give a fuck. I just wanna rap. Spitting fire on this track like a fucking Thundercat. Plus this mic is bleeding rojo. This shit is a no-no. Rolling in that low-low. Plus I'm from that Baltimore. Need a folk, smoking on my logo. Ready for the woe, and we so silly with the flow. Somebody got a ropo. Heard the lanes, and I swear they so too much love for the fame just to go broke. You said think I had the rap game in the chokehold. Never think I got the whole world on the rope. Gotta think of damn dog, you crazy. Is he the next Jay-Z? My crystal ball is hazy, but I don't know, maybe.
Welcome back to the Insane Chick Podcast. It's your host, Chris, here, and we got a very special show today because I'm doing double trouble. We got in the studio with me, I have the lovely Petty Kruger. We're still going with that, right?
Yeah, why not?
We're hoping that she doesn't fall asleep this time. I just had to get in there right now because, last time, got a little sleepy, so I'm just throwing it in there now. But then also joining us, got our friend from the Black Guy at Tips. I got Rod. What's going on, man?
What up, y'all?
Good to have you on, man. Good to be on. Get you on here. First things first, Petty and I will be doing a Scarestalgia at some point. We keep putting it off, but it's going to happen, right?
You're going to stop giving the people's hopes up.
I'm trying here, folks. I'm trying. But it's actually good. I'm glad I have Rod on because this is actually perfect timing. We've been talking about like the Awesome Con thing and everybody coming for Awesome Con. And we can officially announce that this week I signed the paperwork. And we will be having our live event with Rod and Karen, Phenom, and all the Where's My 40 Acre crew. A lot of the MTR crew's coming. Like I think almost everybody from the MTR crew's coming. So, but we'll be at RFD in Washington, D.C., June 17th. It'll be from 6 to 10. We got the place for like 4 hours. So it's gonna be fun. Right. It's gonna be fun. So come out. We don't know. The tickets will hopefully go on sale this week for this. We got to work out a few things here and there, but excuse me. By the beginning of the next month, which is next week, or this week coming up, we'll have tickets available for people to come out. So just go ahead and start, booking your flights, book your train, your bus, whatever you're going to do to get out to DC on June 17th, because you're going to get a live show with all of us and maybe some other, because there's a lot of our people are in here, from, the DMV area. So there might be some other podcasts that swing in for a quick 10, 15 minutes. So.
Can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to this, man. I actually can officially say fuck AwesomeCon. Like, I've been waiting to say that for a while. And yeah, fuck them. If they don't think they should give us a room to talk for an hour about nerd shit, even though we filled up the room we had, then they don't deserve our fans' coins in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is something that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Just, the work that Black podcasters do is we do a lot with a little. And when you don't get that recognition at this point, it's now getting to the point where it's offensive. It's insulting, because all the stuff we're doing out here. Like it hit me the other day. It's like, right, you know, I think you were the first out of us to start a premium service, right? Mm-hmm. And how scary that was, right? You didn't know fans were going to support you. And I know the rest of us had talked about doing it, but we looked at you first because you had a situation where you kind of had to. And then we saw how successful you were, and then the rest of us started slowly getting our networks together. Now we know like 6 networks, you know, maybe even more, that do something similar. And there's been no problem. Like, there have been fans of all of us. They support us, support all of our shows. We've been able to be successful. I mean, think about just how hard that is for other, like, that's a book for some people. Mm-hmm. Learn how to build a successful podcast network. You know?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, we don't get invited to speak on our expertise. We don't get asked about consulting. You know, like, people don't want to pay Black people for their knowledge, even though they underestimate us constantly, and we continue to be excellent, man. Like, when I didn't have a job and I got laid off, and I had, you know, basically until my severance and unemployment ran out to get something popping, like that, doing that was, you know, at the time it was kind of unheard of, man. Like, a few white podcasters had done it, but most podcast people make money from someone coming in and paying them a check.
Right.
You know, we get our advertisers on our own. We get our fan premium package thing on our own. Like, we did a lot of stuff, and when I say on our own, I also mean to say that with a lot of support from the community that we built and from the relationships that we had with other podcasters. I didn't know everything, but there were a lot of people that were willing to help and to advise on things that I couldn't know. You know, speaking of Where's on 40 Acres, Brandon, man, I'll never forget that he helped me set up some things on my website that I just didn't know how to do. Yeah. You know, I paid a fee and I could have probably had someone do it, but the fact that he did it for me by going into like the back door of the site and fixing some things, that kind of stuff, man, like, you just can't put a value on that kind of friendship and stuff like that. And that's just a relationship that I forged over, you know, talking to him, being friends through this podcast and shit. So, you know, and I haven't met Brandon face to face yet. So
that's right. I forgot about that. Yo, you have.
You know, that's how this shit is. Like, the community we built is different than other people's shit. It's different than, we did something different than everybody else, man. And it just seems like the recognition isn't there like it should be.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, because it's actually one of the topics we're going to talk about, because and I'm going to talk about it next week. I think I have Justin in too, but it's something that I was going through and cleaned up my old Gmail, and I'm looking through Gmail, and I was finding like emails from like 2010 of us talking about things. Like, I think you were asking me about moving off of Podomatic. Like, and I was like, damn, man, we all did used to use Podomatic. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I remember when we put it was the spoiler review for Avengers, and that shit like destroyed my bandwidth on my Podomatic episode, and you guys started getting your bandwidth destroyed on Podomatic too, because it was just you were going over you were just going over the bandwidth limit,
right?
And
I remember, and we're still on Podomatic. Like, I paid the fee, everything. Like, this shit could be expensive at times, man. Like, but fans and people have always been really kind to us and really supportive of us. But a lot of times I don't like get very upset about it. But when I think about our fans, I get more upset than I do when I think about myself. Like, I'm like, I don't really care about fame and all that shit. Like, that's not my motivation. But the idea that all these powerful Black dollars and Black support and Black love doesn't get the recognition that if we were some white podcast or something, we'd be getting interviews about like, how did you do it? And, you know, like, feature like how one team of friends did da 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 da. And now it's just like
the super friends, the Black super friends.
Y'all would already be like a TV series.
You know, it's just interesting, man. Like, and you know, my main thing is, even without all that, if we had that type of reach to and just not even reach, but if we had that level of respect, I think someone would have offered to buy a lot of these shows by now. You know, because these shows have been around for a while. They're not going anywhere. They're professionally done. I feel like if, Chris Hardwick or somebody would have came in and bought this idea off of someone else, but being that it's a black idea, people don't really listen or share in it or revel in it when it comes to white people and their money, that they're not having that sort of response.
That's a good point about it's really the fans that they're not respecting. I mean, with us, it's like you kind of get along with it, but it's the fans. Like, you always hear, well, fans are fickle and you got to give them a product they're going to support. And, most of them won't support. And it's like, again, 6 different networks that for the most part cover some of the same topics, but people are there every week, like every day for
premium with all of them.
Right. It's just like people support that and they're loyal across all boards. And it's incredible. And adding in and somebody else going, like, if somebody else, like when Phenom went premium, I didn't go, oh, well, man, that's going to be competition for my numbers. No. Right. He has a little bit of a different audience, but there's some overlap there, and people just support. And so it disrespects the black dollars that are going back into black podcasting even more than the podcasts themselves. Yeah. It's just
I won't be shocked if we absolutely sell out this venue in a short period of time. Like, right. Like I think it's 100 seats or something. Yeah. And people probably will need like seats for their people or something like that. So however many seats are left, we're gonna sell that shit out. Like we're gonna make back the money that it cost to rent it out, all that stuff. I'm that sure of it because I know that people have been waiting for this for years. For some people, like can't wait to fly in to do this, just to be there for us. And that's so real. So like I said, the only time I get angry is when I think about that kind of dedication we have from people and the level of respect that we receive as podcasters is not conducive to that. It should be reflective of that in media too, where your iTunes list don't put us on there. Your articles that get written and you have to fight just to be mentioned a lot of times. And it's always like the same handful of people. And the most important thing is it's not like I'm gonna turn on black people, because I still love and support and listen to black podcasts that are part of networks and all this other stuff. But, it's obvious that there has to be some type of cosign before people respect it. And sadly, it has to be some type of white cosign for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, and I'm so shocked by he's done this. Like, when we showed up last year and Wonga was there, and I was like, but motherfucker, you drove all the way. You flew all the way from Australia. It's just like, that's ridiculous, So.
But I love what we do, man. I couldn't imagine doing something else right now, and I'm very happy and proud of what we've been able to accomplish. But I can't fucking wait. People are gonna have such a good time when they come out in June, man. We're gonna fucking kick ass, dude. I can't, I'm looking forward to this so much, man. It's gonna be so much fun for so many people.
Yo, so when we got RFD, when she, and they're so chill. Like the lady Lee talked to me, she was like, hey, I was like, so how long do we get it for? She's like, I was like, it's 2 hours long. She's like, I mean, standard time is usually 4. I mean, we don't kick anybody out. So I'm like, so we can get for 4 hours for this place? I was like, so we can basically do like an hour and a half, 2 hour show, and then we just chill and party afterwards. I was like, man, this is what I want. I want to because honestly, man, that's my biggest thing. Like, I love doing the show. I love doing this, but man, I just want to chill with my niggas and then chill with the fans too. Like, that's my biggest thing. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, the show's going to be fun, but afterwards when the drinking gets started and the shots come out and we all just having fun. It's a private room with our own bartender. Come on, dog.
Tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, everybody. Let's sell this motherfucker out, dog. Right. I can't wait. People are gonna we had a great time at AwesomeCon. Our panel went by like that because it was so fun. And I think the same thing, you get all these people and all this energy together in the room, it's gonna be the same thing, man.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. So, all right, before we get further into this show, some housekeeping stuff. This show is being sponsored by Susan Berry, the Pool Law Firm, which is located in Silver Spring, Maryland. Susan Berry and Troy Poole are excellent attorneys in the Maryland, D.C. area. They are from the D.C. and Maryland area, so if you're in the DMV, please check them out. The Poole Law Firm handles criminal law, family law, and personal injury. So if you need an attorney or want to know more, please head over to the wonderful website, The website is www.thepoollawfirm.com. That's pool with an E, Poole, lawfirm.com. Number 301-585-3014. Also, check out tweakedaudio.com. Put the code in reviews. You get 33% off, free shipping, and free lifetime warranty. Any earbuds and headphones, they have some really cool Bluetooth headphones now, so check those out. And as always, MTR Premium. Also, the Black Hood Tips Premium. We're both here now, so you can both do that. Great content over there. You guys, I'm doing double duty, so I do premium stuff, but I'm also over there for MTR Network. I'm also over there with Rod and them with the Nerd Off, man, which Friday 11. Just go ahead and make the announcement. Friday 11. We're gonna do a Nerd Off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I ain't got nothing planned.
Right. I ain't got nothing. Shit, I'm out of work right now, so I definitely ain't got nothing planned. So.
We also gonna do a Playing Dead, man. I finally finished chapter 3, and I gotta do chapter 4. We're gonna do Playing Dead.
That's right. We're scheduled for that on Thursday. Yeah, I gotta play those. So I gotta do that, and then I think some point we gotta do the Guardians of the Galaxy Playing Dead, man. I gotta play that one. Man, I'm so fucking far behind. So we got that on our end for premium stuff coming out. We just did a nostalgia review on Predator 2. That was really, really fun. I enjoy that movie so much, but it is racist as fuck.
Oh, that's my movie.
Oh, that's my movie too,
right?
dog.
That's Danny Glover's Predator, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
This controversial opinion, better than the first Predator in my opinion. I love that movie. Like, I took rewatching it to really appreciate it, because the first time I watched it, I just thought I want to see Predator again, basically in the jungle and all that stuff that was iconic. It's better, man. Him fighting the gangs and Danny Glover being an impossible white man, essentially.
Dude, you know what I realized about that in that movie? Danny Glover plays the character that Bill Paxton should be playing in the 90s. Like that kind of cop, the straight laced but still out of control cop. That usually does not go to the black guy.
He's the ultimate and probably original old impossible white man. You know that genre. Yep. That's really popping right now, where they take like a 50-year-old white man and have him beat up a bunch of brown people. He was the first, dog. Like he really went and beat up a predator, dog. He like lost his gun. Like
he really did. He really did hand fight a predator.
There was a period in the movie where I legitimately said, "Come on, man. There's literally no reason to keep going." Like when he climbs up to the ship, I was like, "You already survived. Now you're just chasing the predator, dude."
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, just you're one nigga in LA. Just go home, man. He went and beat up that damn predator, dog.
No, he really does the I'm too old for this shit, but he keeps doing it. Like in his run, oh my god, he does it. I mean, it's so bad but so good, man. It's awesome. What'd you say?
Yeah, so there's footage of Danny Glover dancing with the Predators because it was the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta see that.
Well, you want to press play?
Not right now, but I did not know anything about. Wait, at the end of the movie, where they're all there's a bunch of them there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember it.
And I mean, like literally doing the kid and play and running man and guys in full Predator suits.
Oh wow.
Dog, this thing got 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm so mad.
Oh yeah, dude. So like again, so when we guys get this, it'll go up this week. It's really good. We played the two trailers for them, and this is gonna kind of go into our first segue today. Trailers back then, man. The first trailer, it only has 2 trailers. The first theatrical trailer was only like was under a minute. The second one was a minute and 30 seconds. Bruh, you put those 2 together, that's a whole trailer. That's a whole final trailer in today's like environment. And
that's a teaser now.
Right. And so when we were watching the second one, we realized that the second trailer gives away so much of the movie. Like at one point, the predator gets his hand cut off. They showed the hand cut. They show him with only one hand in that trailer. And I was like, what? Why did nobody complain about that? Like giving away too much in the trailer. And I was like, oh my God. Because they only showed it in theaters. Back then, you could only get the trailer in the theater. And so, like, you couldn't analyze it. Now, today, man, people overanalyze everything. Well, here, at this point here, we have a screenshot, high-res screen. And if you scroll in, you can see that Thor doesn't have his hammer here. So we know that this happens in this. It's like, you couldn't do that back then.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Like, it just hit me. I was like, wow, it's amazing. So, Yeah, that'll be out there this week, and check it out. We also have a new Docu-Drunks. What was the second Docu-Drunks episode you guys did? Do you remember?
We did 2, and one I unfortunately didn't watch the right one.
Do you remember the name of it, though?
It's like something about why there isn't like a black prime minister.
Oh, the one from I know what that one's from. Okay, yeah, that was tweeted out by I think it was David Harbour, the guy who plays Hank on Supergirl. He tweeted it out. He plays Martian Manhunter. He tweeted it out, and I think the Doctor saw it, and so they added it to the list. So that'll be coming out. I know we'll have a new episode of Secret Sauce coming out soon. I think we have all the stuff there. We just need to piece the episode together. Please check that show out. That's actually on out on Premium. And what else we have? There's some other stuff coming out soon. Oh, there's a new Molecules and Shit episode coming out. And a matter of fact, I think... Actually, no, not this week. Actually, yeah, this coming up week. So this coming week is not Justin on the Insanity Check. It's actually going to be Koki and P-Funk from Molecules and Shit. So if you're not a premium member, it'll be your first time hearing them, and it'll be fun. So it'll be a fun show to check out with them, and then we'll have Justin on the week after that. So... All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into some stuff to talk about now that we got all that stuff out of the way. And I know you are gonna think we don't need you on this segment, but I actually do. It's something important. We're gonna talk about comic book stuff, but I actually needed a person here who's not as into it as Rod and I. So Rod, where's the Wonder Woman marketing?
Well, if you ask Twitter, it's everywhere, and you just aren't paying attention, and they're supporting it even more than Suicide Squad. So
yeah,
calm down, everyone.
So this is something that's been brought up by, I would say, mostly Black Twitter, Black podcasters, and it was asking for Wonder Woman. For people who don't know, Wonder Woman, the most iconic female superhero character ever, has a movie coming out June 2nd, and
next?
Yeah, next month. So you did not know about this?
Yeah, well, no.
You didn't. Okay, that's fine. No, because here's the thing. Because you're not as involved in, like, the comic book world as we are, I actually kind of need that opinion. Because maybe it is that, Rod and I, we're not the people that should be marketed to. Because I can tell you when every movie comes out this year. When it comes to something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a ton of shit from Ghost in the Shell even when I wasn't on Twitter. And even then, it found a way to invade my notifications.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, so I keep seeing the same thing Rod saw. People go, oh, well, no, I mean, they got Pepsi cups over here with Wonder Woman on them. And, everybody, Wonder Woman, she's the most famous. She doesn't even need marketing, Rod. It's just fine.
Yep. It's possible now because we're, 4 weeks out?
Yeah.
It is possible, and I would assume this is going to happen, that we'll get really ramped up hardcore, like 2 weeks of Wonder Woman ads in June. But it's interesting that, to me, I think there's a $1 billion idea and $1 billion movie idea possibly that is getting treated like a $100 million idea. And it's very nuanced and hard to discuss for so many people because they're used to the bar being low for women-led titles. There's a woman director, woman superhero, who's one of the big three on DC's chart and definitely the biggest woman hero in comic books. It is interesting that people can't wait to lower the bar to be like, no, this is fine.
So right now, before movies come out, they usually do tracking. They get something together. They track pre-sales, interest, and they kind of do an estimate on, what the movie will do. Like for instance, I don't know what the tracking is at right now, but I know a couple weeks ago, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that has a talking raccoon and a fucking talking tree, it was tracking at $150 million opening weekend.
Oh, Baby Groot is adorable.
But here, again, this is why I have you here. Look, you said Baby Groot's adorable, right? Guess what is in most of the marketing for Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Baby Groot.
Baby Groot. It's all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to see the movie, don't you? Exactly.
But
okay?
probably not in theaters.
You're seeing it in theaters. You're going to see it in theaters. I know you will. Here's the thing. You wanted to see Suicide Squad. You saw the trailers for it. You saw some of the things. You wanted to go see it.
Yeah.
Right?
I could have also waited. But,
you probably could have waited for that one. You probably should have. But you know what? I was being nice and said, we'll go. I sat through that twice.
Oh, wow.
I could see the movie, like, literally the plot was unraveling in front of my eyes. I was like, what's happening here?
But, like, that's what they do. Like, and that's a movie that doesn't have a big, you know, even for comic book heads, the Guardians of the Galaxy, when that first movie came out, people was like, really going to do this right here? But this is Wonder Woman. Right now, is at $83 million opening weekend. That would be the lowest opening for one of these new DC movies since I think, I even think, could it underperform? But I even think Green Lantern did $90 million.
Shit.
All right? Now, some people go, well, it's got a $120 million budget, so $83 million opening weekend. That's not bad. Sure. This
But
to
it
me
still doesn't recoup its losses.
Well, eventually it would, though. It would. But my thing is beyond that. I think these movies almost always make their money unless they're really, really horrible. She's Wonder Woman. Like, that would be like, there's no way I believe that Black Panther opens under $100 million.
Right.
You know? These are cultural movies. Like, we haven't had we haven't had a woman solo film that matters, because I'm not going to count Catwoman, because it really doesn't matter.
Wait, who's playing Wonder Woman?
Gal Gadot.
I don't know who that is.
But
What did you see, Batman versus Superman?
no, she didn't see that. I was never going to let her.
See, that's the thing for me. I rewatched it just yesterday. I had a fan bought, because I will never spend money on DC. So we put them on our wish list. So if a fan wants, I told them, if y'all want me to watch this shit again, because everyone always is like, if you watch the extended version, it's better and shit. And I was like, okay, the only way I'm willing to see that is if someone buys it for me.
Good man.
So, yeah, it won't be. I spent my money once, okay? Like, you got a chance, and then you blew it, and then you say, "Hey, man, I got the real movie back here for $20 more. Nah, I'm good." So I watched it, and I came away feeling the same way I felt about the film originally, except it just reminded me as a good refresher what I liked about Wonder Woman, man. Like, Gal Gadot was good in that joint, man. It wasn't her fault. Like, she was good. It was the best part of that last fight. And I remember walking out the theater being more excited about a Wonder Woman movie than anyone else in that film.
And that goes back to my point, right? When everybody left BVS, a lot of people came out going, I don't know. But Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was the selling point, right? You see, like, they have her the fight scene of her. Like, remember like, there's nothing I remember about the final fight with Doomsday outside of her using the lasso and holding Doomsday with a lasso. And I was going, that's fucking cool as shit.
Dog, I still remember when he, like, first comes out and transforms with all those bones. And Batman looks scared, Superman looks scared, and she smiles, and that theme starts playing. I was just like, that's my Wonder Woman.
Right.
Let's go. And now, and keep in mind, this movie came out in like
March. It was a year ago.
March 2016, right? They cannot expect people to hold on to that feeling from then to now, dog. Like, come on, man. You have to give us a refresher with these trailers, and you have to push it hard. I've been watching a whole lot of live TV lately, because I've been watching the NBA playoffs. You telling me you can't put commercials for Wonder Woman in the NBA playoffs, man?
Well, see, Rob, the problem is they're not. Well, that's the other problem, right? None of the marketing for Wonder Woman is targeted to the demographic that should really go to her. Women. Like, there's been none. Like, you had International Women's Day. There was no promotion for Wonder Woman on International Women's Day. There was no promotion for Wonder Woman basically in March. They did so that the Vanity Fair came out and was like, well, no, they're spending more on Wonder Woman with 5 weeks out than they have on Suicide Squad. But when you look at the numbers, what half of that number is I think they spent like $3 million and something on Wonder Woman, and they spent 2.6 on Suicide Squad by this point. 1.5 of that went to putting a 30-second TV spot during the NCAA finals.
Wow.
So, like, that's not, like, you're going to get, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things that, yeah. That's
like I've seen this defense lately, and I was gonna save it for Friday, but the latest article I read was Screen Rant saying like, well, they roughly spent the same thing they did on Suicide Squad, so everybody's just making it up. Like, really, it's the same, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense because this isn't. Oh, I hate DC and I'm making something up so I can shit on them. This is a whole lot of people that are rooting for this movie going, I keep going to movies and I don't see the trailer. Right. You know, I see the Justice League trailer more than I see the Wonder Woman trailer.
You went to Fast 8 and you saw the Justice League trailer and didn't see Wonder Woman, right?
Right.
What the fuck?
That was the second movie that happened then, by the way, where I went and was like, oh, it's an action movie. And it started with Justice League. And I was like, what's happening now? Like, I almost expected it to be like, just like Wonder Woman and then maybe Justice League in the same thing, like the very rare double up or something. Mm-hmm. I was like, right after watching Justice League, I was like, oh wait, that means they're not gonna show the Wonder Woman trailer because you don't have companies normally do 2 or 3 of the same, you know.
And again, Justice League comes out in November. Wonder Woman comes out in June. And you didn't attach Wonder Woman to what was going to be the first blockbuster of the year, which is Furious 8. Fate of the Furious. Right. Like, how do you justify that? Oh, well, it's got the same. The other thing, too, when people say it's got the same marketing as Suicide Squad, that's fucking Suicide Squad. This is fucking Wonder Woman. Like, come on. It's Wonder Woman. Somebody got to ask real quick. So, Petty, you're looking at the images for Wonder Woman. What do you think right now? Because again, you're not a comic person. You're not one of the people that goes to these comic movies. Like, so you're looking at the images. What are you thinking?
This movie looks cool as fuck. I mean, not only will women get a kick out of doing Wonder Woman cosplay this year, but the action, like the still action shots, look amazing. Like, I just came across one with the golden lasso. That shit looked cool. I love the fact that she's... what time period?
They're setting it in World War One.
Okay, that's what I thought, because Homegirl is rocking a bad blue Grecian dress with her sword down the back of it, and you can see the hilt. Like, that shit looks awesome. So, I am excited for a movie that is, that I may not see in the theaters, but it looks cool.
If it's good, I'll let you know. You go see it in the theater.
My girl, Lexi Alexander, the director, still one of my favorite comic book movies, Punisher Warzone. But she's been all over this shit, man. And she said a long time ago, like, she expected this to happen in this movie. And everybody, I remember watching her mentions and shit, everybody at the time was basically like, oh, here you go, trying to see problems where there's no problems. Why would they do that? No one wants to have an unsuccessful movie. Why would they tank their own film? And now here we are, and everyone's like, man, it's weird that I'm not seeing ads for this. And she said, because as a woman director and a woman lead, expect to see this promoted less, and then when it doesn't do as well as the other movies in the theater, expect it to be seen as an indictment on this is why we don't do these films for women.
See, I feel bad not wanting to go. I'll go see this movie now.
Yeah, I actually saw more promotion for Ghostbusters last year, which was that movie was treated like dog shit from so many people. And they still were like, let's put a tie-in to the NBA playoffs.
Oh, dude, I remember that. They had the NBA playoff tie-in. They had all that shit in there.
Kobe was in it. Like, I don't understand why Wonder Woman wouldn't take the same, like, level approach because that should be the movie. But I'm telling you, man, this doesn't feel right. I don't know. And people have been saying, like, well, it's probably because they think the movie's bad. Dog, Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman were bad. They still promote it though. It doesn't make sense that it's almost like I don't think the Obama should get paid for speaking thing where you're like, why would it start with them? You know what I mean? Like, that's my question here is why would it start with Wonder Woman that DC suddenly goes, we got to stop spending so much money on marketing. These movies aren't good. It's interesting you started with the film about the woman. It's interesting.
Right. And that's my point. It's like, so I've had people go, well, so there's been some debate over the budget. Because the budget has been listed as $100 to $120 million, which, again, I've had people go, well, that's pretty high. And not a lot of women, that's like, she's like only 2 or 3 female directors have gotten, $100 million budgets. I'm like, okay, but look at the budget for Man of Steel. $225 million.
How much was Ghost in the Shell?
I have no idea what the budget for that one, but it's probably high. But it was also, I don't think it was a female director. So I know it was really high. It wasn't no $120 million, I don't think. Way more than that. Now the people then come out and said that, oh, well, no, the budget's more higher than that. And I'm like, then where did $100 to $120 million original thing came from? Why didn't anybody say anything? Because
Google's saying Ghost in the Shell is 110. According to this. I don't know.
I always thought it was higher than that. That CGI looked way more than that.
Did they make their money back? Or is it continuing to bomb overseas?
Let me see. It grossed 164 million worldwide according to this. So,
yeah.
But here's, like I said, this is what the nuance is about that I'm trying to have with this. It's not even that it'll make his money or not make his money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it's the difference between sitting on $1 billion idea,
right,
and sitting on a $200 million idea. Wonder Woman's $1 billion. It's $1 billion movie, dog. Like, what has to happen for them to realize it? But the bar is just so low, and the people that really like DC are more about defending them. I said some stuff about Wonder Woman just being like, man, I want to see that trailer. Getting a little bit nervous, and I had people that they would be mad at me for bringing it up and say I hate DC and shit. I go to their timeline before I block them, and it's all day. They spend all day just going DC. I'm gonna defend DC. Like their pictures of Zack Snyder's DC characters. It's the header is like a Justice League header.
But it's not Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
number Wonder Woman.
You do this all day though. Like,
yeah,
that's not weird to nobody.
Well, you know what I found is a lot of these people is they're not fans of DC. They're Zack Snyder dude bro fanboys, and so even the promotion for Justice League, Wonder Woman's in Justice League. You could promote Justice League by going Wonder Woman heavy. They're not. They're going Aquaman heavy because again, it's another dude. Like everything with these movies are. Everything I'm seeing out of DC right now with the promotion is very marketed towards the old school logic that women don't like these movies. Women aren't going to go support a comic book movie. Women don't buy this stuff. They don't watch this stuff. But we know that it's false. There's an untapped market with women there. DC is actually beating Marvel to the punch with a solo female character, and she happens to be the most iconic female character of all time that everybody knows. You could really steal women with that. By just going out there and marketing directly to them. You're going to get the dude bros, right? Like you said, this is $1 billion idea. It's Wonder Woman. People are going to go to see this movie whether they think that the other movies are bad or not. I mean, it's got like you said, it's got almost mostly women as cast members. It's got a female director. Like, what else? I'm looking at, this is CBR had an interview, and they interviewed the chief marketing officer, Kristen O'Hara for Time Warner, and they said that they, again, look at what's different with Wonder Woman, and they said that they took their modest campaign route. They took the role from they took that idea from how they marketed Supergirl. Now, for those who don't know, Supergirl, was a TV show, and it wasn't going to get renewed for a second season on CBS. And it wasn't going to come back for a second season until CW picked it up. Right. That is what they're going for. That is what they're going for when they say they're going to market it. Like, okay, we had a modest campaign that we were doing for the TV show Supergirl, and we started to discuss. Yes, it was important to drive tune into that show, but one of the other amazing benefits from that campaign would be the amount of data we could collect about female superhero fans, which we hadn't really done up to that point. And so a modest campaign generated, I think, 5 million female superhero fans in 1 week that we were able to model over time to grow that audience leading up to 15 months later, the release of the movie. But you're not marketing to those women. And by the way, this season...
All this falls apart for me at the fact that I see Justice League trailers.
Right.
It just doesn't... Nothing makes sense. Like, there's no excuse to show me something that's not coming until November now. There's no excuse. You literally had to skip over a movie to pick to market that movie and not this one. There's no reason. I'm sorry. There's just no reason.
Not only that, but this season on Supergirl, they had Linda Carter and Supergirl did the Wonder Woman twirl. Seems like a perfect opportunity to kind of promote your movie, even though it was early in the season.
I literally didn't think about that just till you just said it. We do watch 4 hours of CW shit every week. I still don't see the trailer.
There is no, and again, I think this will all change 2 weeks out. But again, 2 weeks out is actually kind of a little late. You kind of need to do that a little bit sooner. A lot of other things you can market towards women and get, because you, again, me and Ron are the people you need to get. It's people like Petty here, who didn't even know, you didn't know when the movie was coming out. You didn't know any of this stuff about the movie until we show you something. You're like, hey, that's kind of cool. I might want to see that, right? Mm-hmm. Those are people you need to get, not the, like, people go, well, I'm going to go see it. I'm like, okay, yeah, you are, because you go see every fucking thing. Like, you know, I can complain about Justice League all I want. I'm going to go fucking see it. I'm not the market. I'm not the people you need to bring in. I'm not the new fans you need to bring in into this movie. There's a whole untapped, like, do you think that there's a bunch of people out there who know nothing about Black Panther? But when that movie drops next February, they're going to be in the theater watching that fucking movie. Marvel's going to go after them, particularly women, because you know the early description of some footage is heavy on all the black women that are in that movie right now.
No, I haven't seen that.
They haven't put it out yet. It was they invited some journalists there to show them some stuff, and then they tweeted out some descriptions of it, and it was all about every single black woman that's in that film. Basically, I don't even think Chadwick was in the footage they showed, because it's like, well, who's going to drive this movie? Black women, and so that's what they're going to market to. So here you have a movie that is specifically aimed at women, and yes,
for women and girls. You can't tell me that whole girls won't have their birthday party at a freaking theater just to go see Wonder Woman.
Here, you know what I started thinking about the other day, Rod. I remember we talked about this in the Nerd Off. I think that and I think they end up having to change because of this, and it's really sad. I think a large part of their marketing for Wonder Woman revolved around her having that UN ambassadorship that got taken away. Because up until that point, they were actually doing pretty well. You were seeing Gal Gadot all over the place. I think she, I know she was pregnant, so she did her reshoots. Again, this is how badass Gal Gadot is. She did her reshoots when she was 5 months pregnant. So she was doing reshoots for Wonder Woman, right? So, but they did this. I guess was it last fall? I think it was right. Yeah, it was right before the election, and the UN did. They had these like. What is it, like temporary? They're not temporary. They're like
Goodwill ambassadors.
Goodwill ambassadors. So they had Wonder Woman there, but there was a campaign that says that Wonder Woman would be a bad choice and blah, blah, blah. So they took it away. They gave it to her, made a big deal with the UN, then they took it away. It was stupid.
Well, here's my other issue. Has Zack Snyder made a murderverse where you can't really direct any of these movies to little girls?
Right.
Like to kids in general. Like, it's so wild when I watch a lot of cartoons, guys. Okay, I watch Gumball, all kinds of shit.
Have you picked up Animals yet?
Which one?
Animals.
Oh no, on HBO. I haven't started it yet, but it's on my list.
Listen, it is hilarious.
Yeah, I believe it, man. Because when Justin told me about it, I went and looked up the cast, and it was all people that I think are really funny. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh damn, how did I not hear about this until Justin told me?
Yeah. It's awesome. There's even like a live action one thrown in there. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Because it just totally, like, I shit you not. RuPaul is in it and is amazing.
Yeah, I'm all over it, man. I promise I'm going to watch it. But yeah, so I also watch like Adult Swim stuff. Like, I saw more commercials for DC stuff during Adult Swim, which is after midnight and like 10 o'clock at night. Then I saw during like Gumball and Teen Titans and stuff. Mm-hmm. Teen Titans is a WB property. I just don't think they've made a universe where you can be like, hey kids, come check this movie out, because it all folds back into Zack Snyder's dark ass version of the Justice League. Yeah. No, I agree.
It's one of those things that it's just frustrating because, again, like you said, and I'm looking at all these articles here that talk, like, people go, oh, well, no, it's okay. I'm like, no, like, we know we have articles and data from 2016, 2015, talking about the decline in the number of female directors. Like, there's an article here from 2017 that talks about the number of female directors decline. Let me see if I can pull this one up.
Yeah, they even say, like, I saw an article, Wonder Woman doesn't need your help marketing.
Yeah, which is, I'm
what
like,
the fuck? Who do you think you're protecting? Like, what? When has a movie ever said, please don't advertise us, please don't talk about us, please don't, like, it doesn't make sense, the defenses of it, man. And here's the part here's why I'm so fucking like worried about it, because my problem is fast forward to this movie coming out, and coming out in the middle of some possible other movies that might take away from it, by the way, in the middle of the summer. Fast forward to the shit not doing well, and the first thing that's going to happen is people are going to be like, this is why women don't need to direct. This is why we don't need these women hero movies. Nobody wants to see that shit. This is the same culture that said diversity fucked up Marvel, that Ghostbusters starring ladies was stupid, and we don't need these movies. Like, this is the same Gamergate culture shit. You can't feed into it by just literally hamstringing your movie, and then, like I said, on the back end, catching hell because it's not gonna, if it doesn't do well. I hope it does well. Part of the reason that I hope it does, part of my saying that means that I actually hope you market the shit, and I hope it's a good movie. Even if it's a shitty movie, you should market it like it's good. I mean, trick people like you did with the other movies. I don't understand the problem.
Right. That's what I was like, well, you know, we changed our marketing strategy after Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman. Oh, and we're going to get this later. So you changed it for the minorities and the women movies, huh? Weird how that works, right? All of a sudden now you want to watch your spending and watch your money. Didn't give a shit about that before when you were doing Batman. Okay. The other thing too is I'm not going to go through this right now because I do want to move on soon. But I implore people, go and see what else comes out around Wonder Woman, and then tell me that it's okay to wait until after Guardians of the Galaxy drops. Because again, you're going to wait 2 weeks. You know, if you wait until after Guardians of the Galaxy drops, you're going to get at least 2 weeks of, go check out Guardians of the Galaxy. Critics are saying it's at 87% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, guys. So that means a bunch of people are going to go see it. It's going to get good word of mouth. So that's a good week, 2 weeks of that, right? Then you got the Pirates movie coming out, which, hey, doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. People are going to go see that. Also, Spider-Man starts in literally a month after Wonder Woman comes out, which means about a week before Wonder Woman comes out, Marvel, Sony, and Disney, because that's 3 fucking studios that have a bunch of money to spend, are going to ramp the promotion for Spider-Man. There is no safe, like, people kept trying to tell me that, like, waiting until after Guardians was a safe time to market Wonder Woman. There is no safe time when you put a movie in June. Because you get stuck in between the May and you get stuck into July.
Did you skip over the Mummy?
Oh, there's Mummy in there too. When's the Mummy come out?
Because that's the one that I'm like, I'm nervous about. Because it's Tom Cruise, man. You just never know with that dude, man. Like, write him off at your peril, but it only take one, you know, that good review, that good word of mouth. He do that Tom Cruise run, and next thing you know, we sitting up here talking. Don't forget that time he stole the summer with Tomorrow.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
that dude. Like, people, everybody was not expecting that movie to be good. It was just coming off of his other sci-fi movie that got panned, and people was like, "Isn't that enough, Tom Cruise? Let's talk about how he's a Scientologist." Right. Man, that movie came out. That was like, best movie of the summer. This is the movie you need to see. Why aren't people seeing this? Dog, don't let it happen to Wonder Woman.
And it comes out the week after Wonder Woman. And here's the thing: it comes out June 9th. Wonder Woman comes out June 2nd. Here's the thing: a movie doesn't have to win the weekend to take away your money.
Right.
It doesn't. It doesn't have to win your. It doesn't have to. So it's like they put Wonder Woman in the toughest spot on the. It has the toughest spot on the calendar. It just does. And hey, it's Wonder Woman. I think she could survive it, but you can't not promote it then. You can't then go, oh, well, it's Wonder Woman, do all right. And she's tracking at $83 million.
You think it's not like the other movies ain't promoting they shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've seen the Mummy flyers, movies. I've seen like commercials. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy commercials, dog. Like, I know when those other movies are coming out. You can't avoid this, man.
Man, I stay seeing Baby Groot talking to the fucking Geico Gecko, yo. Like, come on, man. That commercial is fucking hilarious. You know?
This could be a tactical mistake. It's DC, so people are going to defend it no matter what. But I don't know, man. At some point, they need to get some solid wins streak going. Yeah. And this is and the other reason this is gonna be really, really important, but people are playing it like it's not right now. No, it will subtract the hype from Justice League if it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it will, like if this joint tanks, it will be like another laughing stock, another, DC fucking up, y'all, ha ha ha. They need a win here.
Yep, they do. They do. Like I'm just, again, I look at this like when you start lowering the bar for this and then treating a movie that's directed by a non-white male, and you start making excuses. Well, it is like some of the most that female directors. It's not the same though. Like you're literally giving the pay gap argument and saying that while it's not the same, it's good enough, which is bullshit. Like why doesn't Wonder Woman command a $200 million budget too? You gave it to fucking Green Lantern. You gave it a fucking. I had somebody literally try to tell me that it was because Patty Jenkins isn't known. I'm like, motherfucker, she directed Monster that won a fucking Oscar for fucking Charlize Theron. She won Best Actress for that shit. What are you talking about? She's not really known. Motherfucker, the dude, I think John Watts is directing. Like, nobody even knows who the director of fucking Spider-Man Homecoming is. He's directing Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, Marvel makes a whole thing out of literally picking out people who like do like small things or do TV, and you're trying to tell me that Patty Jenkins, who has a fucking name to her, isn't big enough to get and can command the same budget that her male counterparts. Like it's literally the dumbest argument, and it's a sexist argument, and I'm tired of having it, and I'm tired of people framing it as you just hate DC. Like, no, I'm actually caring more about the character than you do apparently, because I think she deserves better. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Let that Black Widow movie come out and that budget be short. see how they gonna act, bro. Let us find out that it got the second smallest budget of all the Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. Man, people will act a motherfucking fool.
All right, let's move on. Speaking of acting a motherfucking fool, so we remember Pepsi had their little Pepsi commercial. And people joked it and was stupid because, Kendall Jenner thought she could save the world with a Pepsi and stop police brutality with a Pepsi after snatching her wig off and handing it to a black woman. So I was hearing people say Heineken's doing a commercial and they did it right. And I also saw people that I actually know and respect say this commercial's fucking stupid. So I decided that I wasn't going to watch it. Then eventually somebody, I think it was Ebony, tweeted it out and said, oh, yeah, Heineken does it right. I was like, okay, all right, this can't be good. So I finally decided to watch it. Guys, have you seen this, Rod?
Saw it this morning for the first time.
I've not seen it.
Oh, good. Well, here you go. You got a chance. You can join the fuckery with us. Let's play this.
I would describe my political views as the new right.
I'd say that I'm left.
The new right, though?
Feminism today is man-hating.
I would describe myself as a feminist, 100%.
I don't believe that climate change exists. We're not taking enough action on climate change. I think it's about time these people got off the high horse and started looking for credible problems that actually exist.
It's absolutely critical that trans people have their own voice.
That's not right. You can't, you're a man, be a man, or you're a female, be a female.
Women do need to remember that we need you to have our children.
Could I be friends with someone that says a woman's place is in the home?
Right, okay, well, I'm an expert at flat packs. If you have any trouble, just watch me.
So I'm not gonna play any more of this because that's about as far as I got when watching this stuff. Let me just go in.
It's like a setup for a bad reality show.
Yeah, basically. And basically what they're trying to prove is like, whoa, we can all come together and we can find common ground. Here's my problem.
Give them a hard task like putting together a table.
And this is a problem I've been dealing with all week.
Where does the beer come in this?
I guess they drink a beer while they're putting the stuff together or something. I don't know.
They drink it at the end.
They drink it at the end. They basically do a beer summit at the end.
Put the table. Okay, so they put the furniture together. They also ask each other questions, like they do a Q&A. And the Q&A is not about their political beliefs. It's like, name 5 things we have in common. How would you describe yourself in 3 words? Stuff like that. Then they put together the table. They put together a bar, and the bar is, they have instructions to go to a globe, open it up. There's 2 beers inside. They go sit at the beers on the bar, and then they have to watch a video of each other's points of views that they had from an interview they did before they walked in the room. And it's all, it's like the same stuff we saw up front, like feminism is stupid, and I believe global warming is a hoax and whatever. And then it's like, now that you've seen the video, do you decide to drink the beer with the person
to
and
get
discuss
punched
it, or
the
do you
fuck
leave
out?
it?
And I've seen people go, they do it right. I'm like, no, this is not right. You're like,
you can get 2 opposing motherfuckers in a room and get them to tolerate each other. Like, that is the bare minimum, is to tolerate. Like, there's no attempt at real bridge crossing. There's no attempt to see, at least in the, minute and 5 seconds that I've seen of this ad, to try to attempt to see the humanity in one another. And that doesn't seem to be the conceit of this ad.
I have so many questions. Were they paid actors?
They sound like it.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Was part of the experiment they were getting paid and they thought, I won't get my check if I leave early?
How many people did they have to go to and to get to people going and not throwing hands? Because it had to be some people. If you just got some random motherfuckers in there, and like, let's say if I'm sitting there and I'm saying my views and somebody else goes, well, I just think I should be able to say nigger too.
I'm tossing smacks at your face.
Right. Like, was it
the one about race? There's nothing about race in here.
Oh, that's right. There's nothing about race in here either. So they never go with the race one.
But the first little battle is between a black woman and a white alt-right man.
Mm-hmm. Who thinks that women are just exist to have our babies. But
no discussion about race.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the one where I actually stopped earlier than this the first time I watched it, because after I got to the first dude, I was done. So within the first 15 seconds, because here, and this is my problem. You see this a lot right now with the New York Times out here. The New York Times journalists, the good ones, are out here trying to defend the New York Times for hiring this guy who's a climate change denier, right? And his article. And they're saying, well, we have to have opposing views. And I'm like, yeah, unless that opposing view is just false. That opposing view is false. It's not a differencing of opinion that we can just move on and shake hands on and move on. This guy comes out and is basically like, feminism is man-hating. He's fucking wrong. Not only is he wrong, but his differing opinion gets women killed. The other dude is a transphobe, right? He's transphobic. His views get people killed. That's not a differencing opinion and we can come together. No, I don't need to come together with that person. He needs to educate himself, or somebody needs to educate him. Then he needs to come to where we're at. There is no... I hate this idea of us coming together, because as soon as we have equal distance to come together on, one person's right, the other person is wrong. What are we doing here?
Well, can we also talk about the fact that the commercial ends and all the conservative people start kind of trending towards I see you as a human now. And I the guy who's transphobic gets the transgender woman's number and does not misgender her. He's like, I would have to tell my girlfriend that I got a friend that's a girl. I'm gonna put in my phone, and it's like ha ha ha,
all through a beer. The power of a beer.
Right.
Or is
feminist dude, the guy who's anti-feminist, goes smash the patriarchy, and then he does a toast with the beer with the feminist woman. So the point I took from it that's really scary is these conservative people that literally hate people's humanity just need to be talked to nicely. And that's the narrative they've been having about these Trump voters. Mm-hmm. It's always a narrative they have about, the people that literally walk around disrespecting other people's humanity. They always had this moment where it's like, well, if we would talk to them nicely, they come around.
So there's another part of this. And because Chris doesn't want me to see the full commercial. I can only go by what you've described for the rest of it. But
I can play the rest of it if you want.
If you please.
All right, let's play that. Let's keep going. Let's go with this shit.
So it looks like I've got your instructions here.
I think so.
The sexual tension.
Let me help you.
Let's have just that bit there.
They're putting together the benches.
Describe what it is like to be you in 5 adjectives.
Okay. Frustrating.
Dedicated.
Opinionated.
Lucky.
Ambitious.
Offensive.
Solemn. I have ups and downs.
Strong.
I want to say attacked. Misunderstood.
Name 3 things you and I have in common.
We're both male, we're both confident, and we're both loudly spoken.
We know each other better than people who've known each other for 10 minutes should.
You seem quite
You
ambitious
built a
and
bench.
positive, and you got this really got a glow. Do you know what I'm saying? Your aura's pretty cool.
I'm sensing, are you former military or something?
People have said that, but there is no
Really?
history. So are you then ex-military?
Yeah.
If you're ex-military, I'm very proud of you already.
Well,
So
I grew up in a bit of a
thanks.
rough state. I've experienced homelessness. I've known what it's like to have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And so now I take it away from everybody else.
Definitely most grateful, just for life.
We've only just met, but I think you're the sort of person that would listen to me and we'd have a discussion rather than argue.
Yeah, you could hang out with, man.
let's go.
It sounds like a therapy session for the right wingers.
My chance.
Yeah, that's what. I'm getting really angry right now. Just want to throw it
Doesn't
out
it
there
sound
right
like a therapy session?
now. Yeah, it is. It's make them feel better about themselves. Make them feel better about their horrible views.
You're right, mate.
Fitter than I look.
Perfecto.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So basically, I think we just built a bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you are.
Each take a bottle and place it on its corresponding markings on the bar.
Attention. Please now stand to watch a short film.
Feminism today is definitely an excuse for misandry, man-hating.
If somebody said to me that climate change is destroying the world, then I'd say that is total piffle.
So transgender, it is very odd. We're not set up to understand or see things like that.
I am a daughter, a wife. I am transgender.
I feel like the battle for feminism definitely isn't done. The fight is never going to be over, if I'm honest with you.
You now have a choice. You may go, or you can stay and discuss your differences over a beer.
British is so goddamn polite.
I'm only joking.
You happy for a second then?
Well, I'm having a...
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. This is why I didn't want to. Their act. I don't believe this shit for 1 second.
Oh my god.
Come on, yo. Really? 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 Somebody has that strong of opinion on transgender people.
But she was in the army, so she served. He thanked her for her service.
This makes me feel.
What if she was kicked out because she was transgender?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's so devoid of actual context and.
Well, it also goes to the thing of like, so now because we know this with people who have these kind of views, they always have that one. Well, you're one of the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, they didn't have the race one, or maybe they did have the race one, and those people did not sit down and have a beer.
Well, that's my other question. Were there people that failed the experiment?
Right. Because, like, you know, there's always that one person who goes, oh, man, I had, man, you know what? You know what, Chris? You're one of the good ones. Like, you're now my black friend. So now each of these people has one of the other friends. Like, you're now my feminist friend. Even though I don't believe you. Like, that's bullshit. Because I want to, you know what the commercial I want to see next is? I want to see the follow-up commercial. Where are these people now 2 months from now? Is the climate change denier still out there denying that climate change is real and denying fucking fact and science? You know, is the man out there going, "Well, I can't understand what being a transgender is"? Is he out there now going, "Well, it's just you're a man, you're a man, you're a woman, you're a woman"? Is he doing that? You know, is the guy out there who says that feminism is man hating? He's going back with his buddies now, having beers with them. Going, I got paid for this commercial, man, and that's all they needed to say is me to sit down and have a beer with these people. Like, what happens after this?
the people are in your face. Like what kind? I guess what it goes to is this: what sort of monster do you think people are?
Right.
Because I think people are monsters that go behind a voting booth and pull the lever against people's humanity all the time. I don't think those same people are walking around in alt-right gear and Nazi paraphernalia, and I don't think the eggs on Twitter are calling every black person they see in real life a nigger to their face.
Mm-hmm.
But they get on the internet and they do that shit because that's what, that's where you can go do it. This feels like that to me. Like, yeah, the only way this is progressive to me is if you really think racist people that hate women and shit, only like they would just be like, I don't care, it's a camera, I don't care, it's a commercial, I'm just gonna fucking be racist to this woman. Like, you know what I mean? That's not how people work. There's a lot of people that I said this when I was talking about Captain America last week, but Captain America is Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, racism, it's Tom Brady, man. It's Make America Great Again hat in my locker, but I'm not gonna come out and call any black person a slur. But does that not make his vote just as fucking dangerous?
Katy Perry, who made that joke earlier today, getting side eye from everyone, but her parents voted for Trump, going, well, gotta still sit down with him at Thanksgiving dinner, though. It's that kind of shit. Well, I tolerate it, and I tolerate the hatred of other people because it's okay. I'm just like, wait, what the fuck here? Reminds me, I can't remember what newspaper it was, but it was a reporter who found out that her neighbor was a Trump troll. And she went and finally confronted him. She confronted him with all the stuff he would say online. And the same thing happened like you think. Yeah, in your face, he's a nice guy. But they play this role behind the scenes, which is way worse. Like, that's not character. Your character is not what you show everyone when the cameras are on you. It's what you do behind everybody's back. The camera's not on, and nobody wants to sit here and look like a fucking fool, right? Nobody wants to be evil to somebody's face. But behind the back, these motherfuckers gonna go back and do the same thing they were doing before. Like, it's just it annoys the shit out of me. And when I see other people going, no, they finally do the commercial right, I'm like, in what world? Like, that's not how this works. To me, this commercial is actually more dangerous than the Pepsi commercial, because the Pepsi commercial was just over the top and stupid, right? And it is dangerous too, but not to this level, because this level normalizes the other side, and it makes them seem like their views are valid and up for debate, and they're not. I don't believe in climate change. Well, you don't believe in science. Do you now not believe? Like, imagine somebody. I get a perfect example. Remember, there's a big deal that came out when what's his name? For the Cavs, Uncle Drew. Fuck. Why am I?
Oh, you talking about Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving came out flat earther. Did anybody go, man? Let's sit down and have a conversation with Kyrie Irving and treat him like an irrational person because he believes the Earth is flat? No, we all treated him like a fucking joke. Why? Because the Earth isn't fucking flat.
Because he chose at 40 years old to be against Earth science.
You don't treat that shit like it's like, no, you can't. I can't go to CNN and go, look, I want to give my point of view. I'm a flat earther and I believe the Earth is flat. Well, what's your evidence of that? I just believe it's flat because when I look over the horizon, it doesn't just dip off into a circle. It's flat. Oh, that's stupid. We're not going to give you a mic. End of fucking story. That's not what we do nowadays with other things. And part of me believes, and this is where I go back to that whole, some white people think on this shit, part of it is like some of them actually quietly believe that it's up for debate. Which to me is far more dangerous than just being flat out ignorant off the top.
It reminds me of, you remember that old show that was hosted at GW, Crossfire?
Mm.
Yeah, I remember it was like Tucker Carlson and the Democrat guy, I can't remember his name. Remember when Jon Stewart went on there and destroyed that show and called them out for being political theater and not really being there to engage or inform the public, but just to, play badminton with, the facts and, battling opinions rather than actually pushing forward, productive and constructive ideas towards our democracy. That's really what it is. It's like a super condensed, concentrated form of just Crossfire. But then they've multiplied it and quadrupled it because, like, dude from Hassan Minaj pointed out in the White House Correspondents' Dinner, is that you had CNN with like 9 boxes of people just talking at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what's crazy about Crossfire is you look back at it now. Jon Stewart was wrong, and they were right. Crossfire was actually ahead of its time because that is actually what cable news is now. It is literally a bunch of crossfires.
Well, he tried to stop it.
No, he tried to. But
yeah, he lost.
He lost. He lost that battle because it's literally become that now.
Lost. America lost.
Yeah, no, we did because that's what it is now. Oh well, we got to give it a side.
It goes back to something from earlier this year, the Trevor Noah Tommy Lauren thing. And I remember people being like, "Well, you don't have her on there because you normalized Tommy Lauren, right?" And ultimately, I agree. You know, obviously. Because after that, she was getting mainstream interviews and seen as an actual, like, beyond just the Blaze, but like, oh, maybe we should do a piece on her, find out why her star is rising. And a lot of that was the cosign of the Daily Show, you know, the whole like, but we have to have these discussions and these opinions, and why won't we listen to each other? We're no better than them if we do that, right? But part of it was like, I remember like having a weird feeling about it because I was like, isn't racism normalized already on cable news? Sure. Like, isn't Jeffrey Lord on there every week telling some black person they don't know what the fuck they're talking about while making up shit about racism? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like the cat is so far out of the bag at this point. Once it makes it to a commercial, dude, where a commercial's job is to get everyone to agree to consume the product, right? We can, Heineken only has one job. Get people to be like, oh, Heineken, and smile and drink it. These motherfuckers really were like, in order to do that, we need to get these points of views out here and act like they're normal, dog. We have to act like climate denying is normal. Transphobia is just another point of view. Being anti-woman is just another point of view. We just need to do that, guys, and it'll make everyone drink our beer. Everyone will agree this is the right thing to do. And so, yeah, when you talk about the cable news thing, it just feel like it's already too late. And Jon Stewart was prescient, but yeah, it didn't help anything because that's exactly where it went to shit.
You know, and can we talk about how, like, on another level of ridiculousness, when you are, say you're in like a sports stadium and you're watching like 2 soccer teams go at it in like English Premier League, you have, you know, Arsenal and Aston Villa, because those are the only 2 that I know of off the top of my head.
Yeah, you're better than me.
And then like you have like these 2 very like fanatic, you know, opposing sides, different fans, and you could have them doing this commercial, but we all know that once you have like 2 like violently opposed opposites like in one area fueled with beer, this conversation does not happen.
Well, you make a good point now. It's like, why didn't they use soccer fans? Like, they could have used anything else. Why did you decide, other than, well, we saw Pepsi do it wrong, so let us enter into the world of controversial political opinions. Why? Motherfucker, you're a beer commercial. You sell Heineken. Like, first of all, why are you even promoting? Like, it's the same thing that happened with Pepsi. I'm like, why are you even doing commercials? You're fucking Pepsi.
Yeah, and even worse, you're alcohol. You don't make anyone's life better. You know, like that is not the goal of your product.
Drunken political arguments. No one looks forward to those.
Oh yeah, that's just what I wanted. I wanted a drunken anti-feminist to give him more beer, please.
Listen,
that's gonna go out great.
You give me another one of these Mike's Hard Black Cherry Lemonades, and I will kill you if you say the wrong thing.
Right.
Mike isn't bringing shit together.
Right.
But me and like maybe my brass knuckles.
That is just not good. Like, alcohol is never a good thing, all right, for doing these kind of commercials. Speaking of political theater here, I brought this up last week, so I have to finish it up. Alex Jones wants everybody to know that he's not crazy, and now that his court case is over, he can now finally come out and talk about his the court case here. Here we go. I just want to. Rolling Stone has the top 10 what the fuck moments from Alex Jones' custody trial. Here, he contradicts his own lawyers by defending his conspiracy theories. On April 17th, the first day of the trial, Jones' lawyers defined him as a performance artist akin to Jon Stewart and Rush Limbaugh. A reporter covering the trial tweeted that the lawyers described to their client's on-air persona as having the ability to combine humor, bombacity, sarcasm, and wit. That night, Jones posted an InfoWars video contradicting his lawyer's statements. They got ours up the day that says I'm fake. All this other crap, total bull, Jones said, according to the American Statesman. The media is deceiving you everywhere. I 110 believe what I stand for. There were multiple pieces of evidence that included Jones's various states of undress. On the second day of the trial, Jones sat in the courtroom and watched a shirtless, pantless version of himself hawk male vitality supplements. Another video of him removing his clothes, yelling about the FBI, was introduced into evidence. The images prompted Kelly Jones' lawyer, Bobby Newman, to tell the court he just takes his clothes off. When a witness said that Jones also liked to take his shirt off during therapy. I found this out. Chobani is the yoga company is suing him. Jones claimed that his practice of hiring refugees in Idaho attracted migrant rapists, according to a 2016 child sexual assault case in Twin Falls, as well as regional spread of tuberculosis. The report was published on InfoWars website and YouTube on April 11th. On Monday, Chobani filed a defamation lawsuit in Idaho, naming Jones, InfoWars, and Free Speech Systems as defendants. The following day, Jones posted a video arguing that his reports came from information that has been all over the mainstream news. Okay. We will defeat these people, Jones said. This is my fight. This is your fight. This is our fight against a bunch of elite, authoritarian, globalist, third world populations allied with the global elite who are totally cold-blooded. Okay. Let's see here. I talked about this last week. He blamed memory failure on a large bowl of chili. I don't know if we told this. I think we told this last week when I had Deepam on. He blamed George Soros for strong marijuana. He said that he smokes marijuana to check it every now and then to see how strong it is. He claimed to have slept with 150 women as a teenager. If you've seen any pictures of Alex Jones, you'll have questions. And so after the trial, he comes out onto the steps and he's in front of the media, and it goes on for like 30 fucking minutes. And at the end of the video, he's there with some shirtless black dude who I don't know where that dude came from, and I don't think that dude knows who Alex Jones is. But he turned out to look. He kind of reminded me of Flavor Flav. He was kind of like his hype man, but it was very, very awkward and weird. But anyway, about 17 minutes and a half into this video, Alex Jones goes into a tangent about one of his conspiracy theories.
Take human-animal chimeras. They have jokes all over TV saying Jones thinks they're crossing humans with pigs and cows. Well, 20 years ago, they were crossing humans and animals and growing them in utero for body parts. That's mainstream, scientific journals. But this cameraman's laughing right here, right? This guy right here. I mean, you could type in human-animal chimeras, get 100,000 mainstream articles. But still, people are preconditioned to make a joke that it doesn't exist. Like Harvard saying fluoride lowers your IQ after just 2 years on 1.6 parts per million by at least 10 points, 12 points, 15 points. People just make jokes. They don't go look up the Harvard studies. It's all just funny because people are followers, and it makes them feel powerful to just laugh at stuff. I mean, here, let's talk to this camera guy right here. Because when I was talking about human-animal chimeras, he was laughing. Do you not believe human-animal chimeras exist? Couldn't say one way or another. See, that's the smart thing. Like 1984. Yeah, spider goats, all of it. They'll probably play that. Play Bear go, oh, look, spider goats. Do you have any idea how dangerous all these human-animal chimeras are? Do you have any idea of the super viruses and the mutations that is?
Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to follow up from last week. The man's fucking out of his goddamn mind. But he has a following of 145 million people that stream and listen to his shit. I don't get it. I got nothing. This is just reminds me of
He's not even saying. He said chimera.
It's creating that are cancers way up, allergies are way up. This will affect your.
Yeah, I can't. If you can't even pronounce GRE words correctly, I can't.
Well, hold on. Let me look this up real quick. I want to say, can I look this up real quick? His background, and I've said this about a lot of conservatives. Alex Jones' background. after high school. He attended Austin Community College. And he got a public access cable TV show, and that's it. That's
just like that Milo.
Yep.
Yogurt Topless dude.
Yep.
No education.
Yeah.
Like you can say this stupid shit and be white, and your ass has got. They're gonna find a way to get you some money.
Mm-hmm. You brought up Tammy Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
I love Miss
Taco
Brett.
Lauren.
Yeah, I love.
Is she still jobless?
I believe she's still jobless. Cause I don't know if we did an update on that one, but so apparently, because you remember, Charlemagne told black women that they need to build their own. Apparently, she hasn't built her own either because she doesn't even own her Facebook. Yeah, so that's what happened with her. That's why she was crying. I could not figure out why she was crying so much about.
Do they own her name?
They might own her name.
Oh my god!
They own her. They definitely own her Facebook. So that's why she has. Because I was trying to figure out why didn't she just go out there, take your name, and go build your own shit. You don't need. I mean, that's what fucking Bill O'Reilly did, right? Bill O'Reilly got fired by Fox News and starting his podcast back up on the Monday, and he's got a $25 million coming in from Fox News, even though he's a racist and he's getting fired for sexual harassment, right? He's just taking his shit and moving on to something else. She can't do that because she doesn't own anything. She's literally a creation of Glenn Beck.
They still are paying her.
They are
so
paying
they
her?
haven't fired her. She's trying. Her and her lawyer are trying to say, "I've been wrongfully terminated and I have been fired and I want to sue." Part of the reason I think they're doing that is because if they can convince a judge that she was fired, even though she hasn't been, she'll be able to start her own her own show or whatever and get paid for it. She can't do it. So it's so funny because Glenn Beck and them are basically been like, we haven't fired you. We don't know why you're out here telling people we fired you. Because I think they're just holding her so that she can't go produce anything without them. Miss, I made it myself, and you need to stop asking for handouts, you liberal snowflakes. Like she literally is owned and controlled by the Blaze and Glenn Beck.
Yeah, here's what I thought. Cause originally what I saw is that they suspended her, but I didn't think that meant they actually fired her. So that makes sense now. So it's like they suspended her. She's not fired, so she can't take any of the shit because she doesn't own any of it. But it goes to show you that, hey, she never built her own. But that's what happens if you're white and it doesn't matter if you have, low intelligence and no background, you can build into millions and millions of fucking dollars because why not? Right?
They gave us so much credit for doing the least.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It goes into, not going to do the day, but at some point we got to talk about how the only black men at this point in the mainstream are problematic black men like Charlemagne. Because I saw that, I didn't watch the video of it, but they brought on the Shea Moisture guy, the black dude.
Oh, I heard about this.
Everywhere you could go.
Yeah, and the only thing I was really interested in was, did they apologize for retweeting Tariq Nasheed? And apparently the answer was no.
Why would they apologize for that when the Breakfast Club's going to have him on at some point? Like he's been on there before. And he also went on Roland Martin's show to apologize for Shea Moisture. Here's my thing that bothered me tremendously. In addition to the fact that mainstream radio has nothing but regressive black voices, a lot of uneducated, unresearched, which is a bigger problem than being uneducated because, hey, fuck it. You don't need a degree to discuss what's going on the radio, but it would help if you research your topics beforehand. But they have a lot of people that really lower, like they just kind of lower the bar so much. You have Ricky Smiley who just got in trouble.
I saw that. Yeah, man. But I've never found him funny to begin with, and that was just bad. For those who don't know, Ricky Smiley went out and was making dark-skinned women jokes again. Just terrible.
And this Zapier's son had got in trouble for saying that he won't date a black woman and that black girls are ugly on his reality TV show. And he scolded him and shit, but here you go on your show, making jokes about black women being too dark. Okay. So all right. So then you have Ricky Smiley, you have Steve Harvey, you have Tom Joyner, who's probably on the better end, but think about how old Tom Joyner is. that's not a connected audience to social media and the latest happenings. They probably didn't even know Shea Moisturizer fucked up. Like they don't even know Shea Moisture made a mistake because this happened on Twitter, which means it didn't happen in their world, right?
Right.
You know, as Steve Harvey, of course, is in addition to being misogynistic, he appeals to that church audience, that we don't be on the internet like that audience, that shit. So you got essentially, if you want to go talk to connected social media young black people, you basically have the Breakfast Club for most people. They go there, but it's one of the worst places to have actual conversations that are serious in any manner. You know, you got Charlemagne trying to make everything a joke whenever it gets serious like that. And if he's not making a joke, he's saying something inflammatory and problematic on purpose for the ratings and the news that it'll make. You have Angela Reed, who's constantly getting talked over. And you have DJ Envy, who's the same guy who thought stop and frisk was good for the black community. Even when it was unconstitutional, he was still arguing that. That was last year. So it's not a great space to have these kind of conversations. And it's definitely not a space that has black women in mind, unless they literally go out and get a black woman to be the guest that day. They'll act right, quote unquote, for that little bit of time. They go, if they act right, they'll go right back to clowning, asking stupid questions and shit. So they didn't go to say Another Round. They didn't go on The Real. They didn't go on AM Joy. There's so many spaces where you pissed off black women. These dudes don't really give a fuck.
Nope.
So why are you running to spaces where they're already anti-black woman spaces, and you're going, here's our product that we sell to black women and a demographic we really pissed off that built our brand. Let's go apologize to the people that agree with trolling our audience and make jokes about shea butter Twitter and feminism and shit like that. Let's go to the place where they think where even Roland Martin thinks black women made that stupid ass Nate Parker movie fail. This is the shit that you decided to go do to apologize. It makes no sense, man. It was really disrespectful, man. I like Chris said, I am tired of the mainstream voices for black men being these really fucking misogynistic, closed-minded, anything for a laugh ass niggas.
And here's the thing. I always see, and it's so sad when you get to this point where some of these men are just, they're the best you can get. And so I think that's where a lot of people come out with Charlemagne, right? Well, he's like 50% right sometimes, right? And that's usually where I put Charlemagne at, about 50%, which is not good. But compared to some of the other names you mentioned, 50% is probably the best we can get. Here's my thing, especially after that whole, why can't woke black women or woke Hispanic women? Why didn't Charlemagne invite Dude on? Why didn't you give her the mic? You say you know all these black women. You say you put on other black women. Why didn't you call those black women up? Give up the mic, give up your seat, put those black women in there, and have them talk to that guy.
Right.
You could have done that.
Y'all got 2 extra mics. Have that dude and Jamila Lemieux come on at the same time. If it's so, or any, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Why does
any black woman that was like, yo, I want to be involved in this conversation. I know Angela's not gonna go in on this dude. I know you and Envy are gonna laugh it off like, ain't it stupid how mad these sisters get? Have a real conversation. Why are you so scared of a real conversation that's not just played for jokes on this show?
Because that's not his audience. And that goes back to other things. Like,
that's so weird to me because, I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking about they don't want black women on there because, like, it's kind of like they one of those that takes the black woman, for granted, and like the erasure is very much palpable because I know for damn sure I'm not buying any more Shea Moisture products, okay? And so, like, they didn't seem to want anyone there that would challenge him because it was an apology tour. So it was an apology that was only meant to go one way. There was not going to be a dissecting of all the issues that were brought up from women that used the product. And it wasn't supposed to be a challenging interview. It was very much just like a softball thing. And I think that the breakfast show just seems to coddle men in general.
Yeah.
And
well, most of the times, and this is why I can't stand when people give Charlemagne like so much credit and so much leeway. Many of the times, some of the most controversial things they bring him on for, or not bring him on, they have on their show, the controversial topics, he's actually either stoked the flames of them himself on Twitter, or he quietly believes them. Like, he's the one that does that. Is there something wrong with calling women females?
Yes.
Right.
You had that conversation on your show after, a day of going, man, I don't see what's wrong with calling women females. You brought on black women to talk about your stupid shit with Tommy after going in on some, well, I don't think black women are building their own. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, and like you said, they don't research, they don't do any of this shit. They come out here, they troll black women. That's really what they're there for. They're there just to troll black women. Then they have the conversation, and then they go on. Like, it's just, like, Charlemagne is basically the continuation of what black radio has become, which is terrible. And people go, well, he has a podcast and he has a book now. And it's like, yeah, but he's just another one of those dumb radio niggas who don't
like
research.
One of those ashy B dudes.
Right. He's no different from that.
Like on the one hand, I absolutely understand the argument of, look, there's a lot of shitty, problematic ass white people making a living, being shitty and problematic.
Absolutely.
And why the fuck can't Charlemagne be a dude that does that and makes a living, and we all just understand, like, he can be the Howard Stern of black radio or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. The problem is we don't even really have any diversity of opinion,
right,
or diversity of representation when it comes to this shit. Like, it wouldn't be so bad if there was a, like, oh, okay, well, this dude normally be on point or whatever, but it's always these dudes that, like, they're either old or they're extremely old school,
mm-hmm.
or they're just stupid. Like, they don't like research, they don't like that stuff. I remember Al Sharpton used to have a radio show. I don't know if he still has it, but I remember catching that joint a couple of times back in the day and being like, oh, you know what? This isn't bad. Like, why the fuck, like, as religious as that dude is, and some of the old school stuff he's couched in, his politics were progressive. It wasn't just,
right,
oh, we don't listen to it because it's Al Sharpton. Like, people were like, yeah, there's room for this too. Where's the predecessor for him? Because I feel like Charlemagne's the predecessor for, the shock jock type dudes.
Right.
But where's the predecessor for, like, people that want to have an intelligent conversation and not just go on the radio and troll, man?
I mean, and at this point, it's podcasts. I hate to say it that way, but that's the only thing we can, because it's not getting put out there. Like, all these problematic dudes are getting, like, I think they're now doing that Race in America thing or something stupid with Charles Barkley now. He's like, it's just,
he's still gonna get that show.
He's still gonna do a 2-night show or something like that. It's like, it's just ridiculous to me. I can't stand it. So didn't mean to go into that tangent there, but all right, let's move on to something else. About, cause not gonna go there, but I know Deepon will probably talk about this when he gets back and does a unanimous decision. But it kind of reminds me of the conversation that was happening with the firings at ESPN. And I know I can't stand Stephen A. Smith, but he went in on that one journalist who came at him on some, man, why are these real journalists getting fired, but Stephen A. keeps going? And he's just like, yo, I have credentials. And
Jeff Pearlman was going on.
I feel a little
he tried to catch it in some shit where he was like, well, no, what I'm really trying to say is that the industry has changed and isn't that bad for everybody and all this shit. But nah, dog, you singled out Stephen A.
Right.
No, there's a lot of talking heads. There's a lot of personality over analysis people on that network. What made you say he's the guy that needs to be fired? Why doesn't he deserve his check? Because
then you look at that, and then you got, there's a bunch of, and the thing about the ESPN right now, they also got Bounce. So yeah, you got the Stephen A. which I can't stand fucking First Take. That show, like, it'll be on in the gym, and I'm like, God damn it, let me hurry up and change so I can get out of this room.
Right.
But then you got all these other shows. You got Momani over there. You got who does
Jamel Hill and Michael Smith.
Yo,
listen, I went right to their Twitter feeds as soon as I heard about the firings. I was like, no,
Well, what's great about them is like I've seen people come at them and they're getting hit by people on like the real journalists, from like Boston where there's a bunch of racism, about not being fired them. But again, I don't really watch SportsCenter like that anymore, and I think part of the problem that ESPN is running into with the problem that a lot of these things are happening. You don't need ESPN as much anymore, but whatever. But I go there and they open their show up and they handle real journalistic shit. Like they hit. Like, people are acting like these two are going up there and are just screaming heads or talking bullshit. Like, they have real segments, and they talk about real issues. I would say they didn't.
Same thing goes for Bomani. I mean, I know he does, like, not just the podcast, but he's on the show with Dan Lepetard, and then he has his own show. Yeah. And those are segmented, so, like, he's not just a talking head, or maybe he is for the Dan Lepetard, but... Like, he's no slouch.
They have legit credentials, and they're doing legit news. Like, and then it makes me realize, it's like, wait a minute. You guys love the catchphrases. You guys loved all that shit. But now when it comes with a little bit of, like, more wokeness, a little bit more political stuff, now all of a sudden, you don't like it. It challenges your views, like, for the better, and now it's stick to sport. Like, it's just... whatever.
First of all, my favorite thing is when they pretend that the other people aren't political.
Thank you.
Like, you do realize that conservative politics is still politics, right? Like, a guy going on the radio and talking about how Colin Kaepernick is a piece of shit and doesn't deserve to be in this country is also being political, right? Like, that's not a political stance. The other thing is, all this brownness is starting to be on this network, starting to have more personality. They're also all the people that are most social media engaged, which is something that SportsCenter and ESPN are trying to find a way into that market, dude, because what killed them more than anything is Vine, Facebook, YouTube. Like, these are the things that kill sport, like cutting the cord, the NBA app, the NFL app, Red Zone. These are the things that killed what they did, and they spent so much money trying to keep sports away from Fox that they ended up overextending themselves, and they had to let some people go. They're not going to let go of the people that people want to watch. Like, I'm sorry, but hard-hitting, boring-ass research journalism is a very small niche market in sports. More people would rather argue about LeVar Ball talking about he could beat Michael Jordan. That, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. We can deal with the truth, or we can just make shit up. You know what I mean?
It's like when people complain about sequels and blockbuster movies, and I'm like, but you do realize those are $1 billion movies, right? Ain't nobody going to see your other fucking films. Like, nobody's going to see Manchester by the Sea.
The shit that people do against Transformers and stuff.
Right.
Well, it's a bad movie. I'm gonna give it a bad review. Nobody should go see this. Okay, here's the problem. They're gonna go see it.
Right.
So you can stop trying to pitch it as either you see Transformers or you go see fucking La La Land, and turn it into, well, I know you're gonna see Transformers, but have you thought about La La Land?
Right.
Because you're not gonna win the battle of pick one. That's always gonna lose. And that's what's funny about it to me is SportsCenter, sports, it's all that shit is entertainment now, dude. And if anything, Stephen A. Smith proved that he could evolve in a way that, a snob would be like devolve, but literally he evolved from a journalist into that talking head to the tune of millions of dollars, dog.
Right. Anybody else would have called it a come up, right? But he's black.
Anybody else.
But he's black. So funny story. I don't think there's a video for this, but it's one that came across and talking about sports Twitter here. And I'm not sure if Deepam covered this or not, but Michael Felger, a radio host in Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, has an issue with paternity leave. He griped about it with Celtics player Al Horford, and this week with Red Sox pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez. Felder went recently after his fellow co-worker, CBS Boston sports writer Michael Hurley, whose wife had a kid. Hurley didn't like that. On Friday's show, Hurley called in to defend himself, talking about how he was grateful that his company offered paternity leave, allowing him to help with a baby since his parent and his wife's parents weren't able to. Most sports radio arguments are to some extent performative. Felger joked about that all Hurley does for his job is coming here for 45 minutes a day and write whiny Deflategate articles. But Hurley seemed legitimately angry when Felger realized that he got mad too. This is what life is for people who don't summer in Nantucket, Hurley said, and that really struck a nerve. Hey Hurley, you sound serious, Felger said. Why do you think I get to summer in Nantucket? Because I work my ass off, Hurley. Because I work my ass off. And when my wife had a baby, I went into work 2 days later because my work's important to me. More important than your kid, apparently. I didn't think you were serious. You're serious. You want a tissue? Why do you think I summer in Nantucket? You think that was handed to me? You asshat. So, I just want to put this out because, stick to sports. But this motherfucker decided to go after his coworker on air. But stick to sports. These are white people, by the way.
They always, that's the thing. White people, white men in particular, get to be like, this is just talking sports. When it's them saying something political, that is sticking to sports as far as they're concerned. It's only when an opinion outside of a white man comes up that they're like, wow, this is getting to be too political. I love Jamel's response to the dudes from Boston harassing her online when she was like, I like to settle my shit in person. So,
yo, dog, she said to come see her.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, yo. That shit was beautiful. I was like, did she really just tell this motherfucker to turn his location on, yo?
In the most cool professional way ever. Just like you couldn't, you can't write her up, you can't suspend her off the air.
Right.
Just appear like, hey man, maybe we can talk about it face to face.
If you want to.
Like, I don't know if y'all seen the Chappelle special yet, but that part where he said these dudes like flipped him off and called him nigger, but then the stoplight came up, so he walked up to the car in the stoplight and he knocked on the window. He's like, hey buddy, can I talk to you for a second? And he said they wouldn't get out the car. He said, that's good, because it's an old Negro trick. Because I was going to get him out that car. I was going to whoop his ass. That's what Jamel did. Hey, buddy, can I talk to you for a second?
Right. Yo, man. It goes back to that thing. Nobody wants to be confronted in person with that shit they say behind a fucking keyboard. Right. Again, speaking of double standards here, let's talk about and the last president I'll remember right now, President Barack Obama, because we don't have a current president right now. We have a man-child. He comes back to the States, and I can see that Obama immediately wanted to go back to wherever he came from because motherfuckers are tripping. So, in addition to his, and I don't think they've ever come out and said specifically that the book deal is $65 million, but let's say it is, because, okay, I can go with that. But, he's giving a healthcare speech, and apparently there's an investment firm that's behind that sponsoring it. And he's getting $400,000 to speak.
Good, make that money.
And some people have a problem with that.
Fuck them.
Yeah, it's apparently it's not Trump and neo-Nazis that's destroying our democracies. A former president who can't run for office again, giving a speech about healthcare. One of the signature things he worked on while he was in office. Apparently, it's destroying our democracy. Some people have some things to say about this. One person who I found hilarious to say this, Bill Maher, everybody's favorite Islamophobe. Let's see. He says, but wait a second. The current president is trying to undo all of his Wall Street regulations, and then he goes to Wall Street and takes money. First of all, I need people to realize that he's not. Is he actually going to Wall Street, or is he going to a conference somewhere in the United States that's sponsored by a firm that might have a building on Wall Street?
Don't be pedantic.
Then he goes to Wall Street and takes money. Isn't that short of what cost Hillary the election? I thought it was Russia, but okay. Are those horrible speeches she made to Wall Street and she couldn't release the transcript of it?
Why? Okay. I don't understand how this dude is still a thing. He also is horrible research. Like, literally, it wasn't a transcript to a speech that cost her shit. Like, I can't believe white people are fucking ridiculous, man.
And it's not like Bill Maher doesn't go around the country doing the same goddamn thing.
Oh, well, Bill, let me just put this out there. Bill Maher, net worth, $30 million.
Right. I was gonna say it's amazing. White people who literally he bitches about not being paid when people don't want to see him at their college campuses. That's like a huge thing for him. He's like, it's against my freedom of speech. He stands for the people that say a bunch of fucked up shit on his show, and he wants Milo to be able to speak wherever he goes and all this shit. Dude, the fucking hypocrisy of you saying anyone shouldn't go take money to speak as a private citizen, it's literally the problem. Like, it's amazing.
It kind of looks like when he's on our team, we're okay with it, said Marr. You can say that when a guy is president, he's looking ahead to $400,000 payday, and he's not going to get it if, while he's president, he's going to do something to piss him off. So isn't the best thing you could do is take your $10 million book deal? Can you live off of that? Actually, the book deal is apparently for over $65 million. Again, didn't do his research. Here's another thing, too, that I always find funny about people saying that, Obama didn't jail the bankers, so he was in bed with the bankers. I'm like, you guys do realize that Wall Street does not like any Democrat. They really don't, all right?
They wanted Trump to win, so I don't understand.
Wall Street did not like Obama. All right?
And right now, they're in bed next to Trump in Melania's place.
Yeah. Like, Trump literally is up there with. All right? So
also, does anybody realize that no one running actually ran on jailing anyone from Wall Street? The people like these are the problems I ran into this morning with these fucking uber liberal radical left black people this morning. The choices are the choices.
No, Rod. No.
That's
what they want you to think.
In 2008, no one on any ticket was going on, we're going to put Wall Street people in jail. Everyone came up short when that question got asked. Like, I mean, if we find out that, something happened, maybe, they caught a body or something, like, everybody was like, look, this is not a gelling thing. This is a fixing the regulations thing. Penalizing companies when we find out they broke stuff. But all this lock them up, lock her up, like Trump ran on lock her up. She's still free, dog. No one's getting locked up. Like, it's the pipe dream, fake ass, like, this is what America should be shit that's killing me. Cause it's like, I have to live in reality, man. I can't live in your fictional Twitter utopia that happens in your brain where all this shit gets magically taken care of. These are not real solutions. It's all Bernie Sanders shit, but on your timeline.
Speaking of Bernie Sanders, when asked if he would take that money, he said he would not. Well, first of all, nobody's offering you that because you're a terrible speaker. And yeah, right, he's like, well, sir, I'm already worth just under $1 million. Which, by the way, Bernie Sanders is also in that top 1% that he talks about so much. Another person I found, she said she was a little bit troubled by it. Elizabeth Warren. Did you know Elizabeth Warren is apparently worth about $7 to $15 million?
She has like $50 million bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, she's troubled by Obama's $400,000 speech.
Oh, she said something?
Yeah, she says everybody on the left apparently says Van Jones, everybody's favorite person. Sometimes I sometimes worry about Brother Jones. To put my
dear brother
Jones, I sometimes worry about him. What's going on with my? I can't.
So everyone's just low key hating.
Oh, go ahead.
Everyone's just low key hating, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because this is very much, typical. I mean, Colin Powell is running around the country as we speak, doing speeches, and he's paid for them. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's almost no different from being brought in to consult on something that you have an expertise in.
Well, just because white people do it doesn't mean
Colin
black
Powell
people
is
should really get into that
black.
corruption.
But
the
that's
thing
what
that's
they want you to
so
think.
Amazing is people are still applying a level of like politics to Obama that he never ever campaigned on or brought up. Like he never was we're gonna shut down corporate America. He wasn't a socialist. He literally had to fight against that stigma and be like, I'm not a socialist. Okay, people keep calling me that. I'm absolutely 100% not a socialist. Stop calling me that. And people are like, but he not doing socialist shit. Nigga, I told you I'm not. So what's the fight? You know what I mean? Like, well, he said this, but he didn't know. There's nothing about this dude's politics or any policy he's ever made or any statement he's ever made that says I would not take $400,000 as a private citizen to talk to these motherfucking white people about healthcare or whatever the fuck the speech is going to be about.
Obama has always been a centrist and a pragmatist at that.
Nobody paid attention though. That's the problem. Van Jones says that he should go on a poverty tour.
Yeah, I saw that.
So about that, this is what bothers me, and I want to say maybe you or Rod have made this point, especially after Netta and D-Wade essentially came up from their hard work in organizing and letting the world know what was happening in Ferguson. Like now that they're prominent faces, like I think D-Wade was offered a 6-figure job in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they started out, kind of like beating the street, not making a whole bunch of money, but doing what they felt. And it's almost like they should like remain impoverished in order to do this work. It's almost like almost like a Jesus-y tour. Like, hey, you have to be like the salt of the earth in order to organize amongst the salt of the earth and be seen as legitimate. Like you can't make any money and do this work effectively. And as soon as you become prominent, it starts to delegitimize you the more your star rises despite your talent.
Well, I think
putting on for blackness has to always be thankless.
Yeah.
Like you can't make money doing it. You can't live comfortably doing it. You can't have resources doing it. You can't get famous doing it. You are supposed to basically take a vow of poverty and struggle, or else you ain't real enough. It's anti-black, man. And like it's racism from other black people in a lot of cases because they put you in this thing. Meanwhile, no one's ever lived up to that standard. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't die in abject fucking poverty, dog. Like what are we doing when we start having these litmus tests for what is really woke? And also, there's no fucking honor in being broke, dog. Like, as somebody that's been broke before and struggled with money and shit, ain't nobody coming and like no one's coming to your aid and like dapping you up and being like, hey man, I appreciate you keeping it real. Like, no one gives a fuck about that. Like, just like say what you have to say in order to help people and uplift people if you can, but that's all you got.
Listen, even Malcolm X was struggling and living like hand to mouth when he was, when he was alive, and that actually, I didn't know about that until I read Manning Marable's book. And so like, yeah, so he was super high profile. I guess you would think that because he was so visible and exposed, that the assumption is that he had that type of, money behind him. And that was absolutely not the case. Like they were struggling and had to depend on, the nation financially, more than he probably would have wanted to.
It comes back to that thing of, I think people think that money is the root of all evil. And so they go with it. So you start making money, obviously you can't look out for anybody else. And it comes back to I was with Rod this morning.
It's the love for money, which is very, very much misquoted. It's the love for it.
Well, and it's, human beings are greedy and we are flawed creatures. We just are. That's human nature, all right? And there's a lot of these beliefs that people put on things that, well, I'm going to come on and say it. Like this morning we were going in and I always hate when these topics always delve into socialism, because Black Socialist Twitter gets very, very defensive. And they get really, really angry if you are black and you don't just give in to socialist ideas. Right?
Afro and Sickle Twitter.
Yeah. And they are very, seriously, they, like, anytime, right? Because the whole argument was like, to me, was just like, why can't Obama make the money? Like, I don't see why he can't. The presidents before him have made money. He should be allowed to make money. Why are we I think Trevor Noah said it best on the Daily Show. It's like, sure, you guys want to start with this thing where make a law that says, hey, the presidents can't make money. Fine, we can start doing that with the next president. We're not going to start with the first black president. And that's my view on a lot of these things. Right? I'm cool with changing some of these things. Like, people have this idea that, oh, well, you're just because you're anti-socialist, you're just defending capitalism. I'm like, no, I have no real opinion about what's better, capitalism or socialism. I think that's probably a good philosophical debate that we can have at some point. I'm actually kind of sympathetic to a lot of people who are really anti-capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is, ain't none of that's going to stop racism and white supremacy, though. So at the end of the day, whether we're a capitalism or a socialism, we still going to be niggas. And we still going to deal with racist white people.
Why black people got to go first, dog?
And thank you.
I just want to understand. Socialism coming. Bernie can be a 1%er. Elizabeth Warren can be a 1%er. Everybody can be a 1%er while claiming socialism. Black people are the only people that got to give up some money to be down with socialism.
And I want to know what people think this socialism is. So if we go from this capitalistic society to socialist society, the white people with money are still going to have money.
Right.
Like, they're not going to just go, oh, well, I guess we got to start at zero again. We're all equal. That's not what's going to happen here. So, sure. Hey, there's people are like, so you're saying that you don't want socialist ideals like universal health care and public schools? Like, no, of course we do. That's fine. But we have those socialist ideas and there's still racism and discrimination in them.
Is no one rich in socialist countries? Everybody got the same amount of money?
Nope. Apparently there's no racism in these socialist countries.
Right. Like, it's honestly, dude, like, I tried my best and I really did a good job this morning, but some of these niggas sound so stupid, bro, because this isn't a political debate for your college debate team. Like, many of these people are grown enough to have experienced some life and know that these fucking ideas that they're promoting aren't as simple as, well, if Barack Obama doesn't take a fucking speech payment, it'll fix it. Like, socialism will start suddenly and it'll come in like that fucking beer commercial where the snow comes in with the train. Like, that's not how any of this shit works. Y'all know, like, policing individual black people's pocketbooks is no way to change the entire economy. That's not how it would happen, even if it were going to happen. So all you're really doing is making it a double blind for blackness, where it's just like, if you're black, don't make too much money or else you become magically a capitalist. Now, my money, when I sell my books, when I go speak at these fucking conferences, when I tell people to PayPal me, hit my PayPal because I explained something to them on Twitter, that's not capitalism anymore, guys. That is just me getting what I deserve. But you are a capitalist. When I say run my coins, anytime I fucking talk about someone owing me for writing an article or something like that, that is different than when we see Beyonce, selling out a concert and demanding to get the money that she deserves. That's different, guys.
What are the rules? I just want to know the rules are. What are the rules? Because like you said, it seems like it's always handicapped black people first, and we can't make any money. And again, I don't like. Here's the thing: Barack Obama giving this speech ain't gonna it doesn't. It's not gonna affect us. I hate to say it, it's not gonna change anything. Not gonna change anything. It's not. He's not running for president. You know, we're a country where almost half this country voted for Mitt Romney, who literally worked for an investment firm. So half this country already believes in the capitalism, most of them are white. So until I told somebody today, I was like, listen, I'm fine with this. Hey, listen, if you think capitalism is terrible, get white people to agree first.
Right.
Because until then, man, this, like you said, this is a system we live in. You might not like it, but what are we supposed to fucking do? Are we supposed to order? Why do we have to handicap ourselves?
Black people. That's my, this, what started this shit for this morning was when I put the connection together, I'm like, okay, I get what y'all saying about being woke and everything, but why does it always end up with y'all sounding like black Republicans?
Mm-hmm.
It always end up with you telling black people we ain't shit, we sheep, we shouldn't vote for Democrats, we shouldn't like the Obamas, we shouldn't, there's nothing we can do, literally. We have a set of options every fucking year when it comes to what we can do with our votes, and your ass is always telling us whatever we do is wrong, period. The only way, and even with you doing the way you do is futile when it's not changing things. You live in the same country I do. You live in the same economy I do. What the fuck do you think I can do to change this shit simply other than what you do, which is go on Twitter and talk about it all the goddamn day, changing nothing, literally changing nothing. Like, you go on Twitter and you just yell at other black people all fucking day about your hypothetical utopian society that you've built on Twitter with 14 followers. Like, it's so fucking disgusting to see what people do, man. And it's like, I have empathy for the fact that they are in pain and they're black people and we're struggling and we're trying to figure different solutions to cope out. But when you turn your rage towards just every other black person, because listen, don't pull any punches. If you're against black people supporting Democrats, you're against 93% of voting black women. You're against like 70-something%, almost 80% of voting black men. Like, you're against most people who vote and are black with your woke ass bullshit.
Well, you know what it is? It's like you said, they're the new black Republicans in that they think the rest of us are stupid. Like,
they were uneducated. They say we vote because Beyonce and Jay-Z tell us to. But then they get mad at me for saying, well, that's an anti-black, racist ass mind state. They're like, no, you can't say that. What's really anti-black is Obama bombing Africa. What about the kids in Chicago then? Because you don't care about that shit. You bring that up specifically as a talking point to win an online debate. You don't actually give a fuck about the fact that drone strikes started in 2004 under Bush, or the fact that of those lives lost. The only thing you care about is when you can bring them up on the Twitter argument.
No, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I literally had somebody today try to say that whole thing was you think that without you can dismantle white supremacy and keep capitalism. I was like, no, I didn't. I just said that if you dismantle capitalism and replace it with socialism, white supremacy is still going to be there. Like, until you dismantle white supremacy, doesn't matter what system we're in, we're still going to be fucked. And then they literally went with this whole idea that capitalism, it's what basically causes white supremacy and this bullshit. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm like, so you're trying to tell me that capitalism outdates anti-blackness, racism, and all this other stuff. And then try to get at me going, because you're not reading and you're not doing this. And then literally tweeting me the free link to some Marxist book. And I'm just like, you motherfuckers. Like, this is literally the bullshit I used to deal with in college, where I know this. I walked past these motherfuckers in college. They were saying the same bullshit. You didn't learn anything fucking new. You went out somewhere, you found this fucking free book, you read something for the first time in your goddamn life, and all of a sudden you think you got something new. It's like those dumb motherfuckers that read the 48 Laws of Power and go, oh wow, this guy's really on to something. You're not learning anything fucking new here, motherfucker. I know this. Well, you don't know anything about the communists and and the socialists who helped us during the civil rights movement. It's like, yes, motherfucker. How did that turn out?
Right. Not to mention, if you examine those people, it's like, it's like how much as I fuck with Kaepernick, but like he put that Castro shirt on. It's like, well, do you want to answer for all the fuck shit he did too? Of course not.
Nigga, somebody brought up
like all of a sudden that ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I mean?
Well, and I want to be very clear about this, because this is why I really avoid the talk about Cuba. Because somebody tweeted a link to me on the Cuba thing that was like a deep examination of things that worked and didn't work in Cuba. And I was going to retweet it, and I was like, I'm not touching this. Because it always comes down to the problem. It's the same problem I have. Come first full circle. These people remind me of the people that defend DC. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, because I was like, I'm not making an argument for or against capitalism over socialism. I'm saying you're presenting socialism as the answer for everything without seeing any of its flaws or seeing any of the problems that could have come from it. That's not going to be a winning argument for anything, because every system you have is going to have flaws. No matter if you go to a socialist society or not, there's going to be a class of people on the bottom. You're betting that in that society, though, you're not going to be one of the ones on the bottom. Just say that. Say that bottom might be smaller, but there are going to be people that get stepped on. And I'm fine for acknowledging that, because I believe that's going to happen in any system, period. But everybody wants to act like, no, it's perfect. It's going to be fine. Yes, ma'am.
Right. They came up with the solution for their utopian, like, it's a utopian world is what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind your political theory necessarily, but don't use your political theory to come down on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think this fictional fucking landscape where, like, one dude told me, well, the problem is Obama sold out America, the black vote to corporate America and make us defend corporations. I said, okay, cool. Let's go with your version that's what happened, right? Once again, what were the alternatives? I would just like to know what I was supposed to do in 2008. Was I supposed to vote for Romney? These were my choices. You know what I mean? Like, what universe did you want to live in? Because I would rather live in the reality of 8 years of Obama than 8 years of Romney, or 4 years of Romney, 4 years of McCain, any of that shit. Just give me the 8 years of Obama. I'll take the good with the bad and we'll deal with it. So then the guy goes, well, we should be supporting black revolutionaries. I said, like who? Name the unifying figure that will bring us all together that we're going to put in the White House, or all understand their politics and change the whole system. Give me some names. Oh, condescending. So I guess you haven't heard of Asada. I guess you haven't heard of Malcolm X. I guess you haven't. I said,
you mean all
first
these
of all,
people
very
that are dead or
condescending.
exiled?
I know I heard of those people. Second of all, Asada Shakur is exiled. Malcolm X is dead. Like, you name, like, these aren't unifying figures for America to get behind. They are considered revolutionaries for a reason. Not to mention, not all black revolution is the same. Some black revolution is men telling the black queens what to do and the black seeds what to do, and everybody get behind me as I tell you what you need to be doing with yourselves. Some of it is pro-black woman. Some of it is pro-black woman but anti-LGBT. It's not all just a one size fits all. And if we don't respect the idea that blackness isn't a monolith, then we can't even start having this discussion, because one thing I will respect is the fact that not all black people agree with me, and it doesn't make them evil fucking people. What I won't respect is you coming at me sideways about this shit and then expecting me to just sit over there and roll over. Fuck you.
Yeah, there's a few things. One, when people, especially on the left, are advocating for revolution, they do realize that they are advocating for blood in the streets. I just need that recognition there.
They don't.
Because they seem to have like the pie in the sky, war with no blood, war with no death type of idea, and that is not how this works. So not only are we a minority, there's going to be an even smaller minority of black folks that will even take up arms against a very well-armed majority. So they need to think of something better, because the way the numbers pan out, that's not going to work. And two, with these folks that I'm hearing about, you guys talk about on Twitter, must have like read Thomas More's like Utopia and went to bed and just like had like, dreams of like fables and shit about what life could be like. But that, and they maybe they weren't born when, the Cold War was still happening. So, little history lesson, hooray. All right, so even after communism took over in Russia, and Russia took over the former Eastern Soviet republics, after the Berlin Wall came up, and so you had half of Europe westernized, the other half of Europe all Sovietized. That's not a word. It is now. Fuck you.
You've been drinking all the slide.
Thanks. And as you were saying, like with white supremacy, like it still manifested itself in Soviet society, and it was a holdover from Tsarist Russia society, because there have been, if you talk to like Russian Jews that have been in Russia for hundreds of, I would probably say thousands of years, because it's like a 1,000-year-old kingdom so far. There have been rounds of pogroms of Jews from before Soviet times and then after, and even during the war, during World War II, they were still catching it. And there's, this idea that racism isn't the same under a Soviet system. That is not true, because even when like the communists were, funding the trial for the boys that they were on the train tracks, it's going to come to me later. Anyhow, they funded these like court cases and stuff to get black representation when boys got accused of rape by a white woman and stuff. Like there was some communist activity in the United States, but they also, like Soviet Russia actually did invite black people, American blacks, to live in Russia. And they were, essentially like sold a bill of goods. Like, yeah, they were there because, hey, we have no Russia. I mean, we have no, racism against blacks here in Russia. Come live over here. And even yet and still, they were like a very small enclave of folks that they could, the Russian state could keep an eye on. So they weren't all together, free citizens of Russia. And there are descendants of those people that still there that still catch the, anti-black racism.
Well, that's the thing that so many of these people go to. They go, well, the Soviets invited us, over to Russia, and I'm like, but yeah, how did that work out? Like, it's just really, it's really frustrating to hear people talk about this stuff because it delves into this idea of socialism versus capitalism, which I think is the argument that a lot of these white socialists want. Kind of pointed to somebody today. I was like, listen, you want this, and the problem I have is so many of the people that the white people that agree with you on this socialist stuff, they're racist. Like, you've seen it. You've seen the racism from these people who agree that, oh yeah, I agree with universal health care. I agree with this stuff. Oh, but black people? Oh, I don't know about them. Like, you've seen that you've seen the sexism. You've seen the bigotry, and the homophobia and the transphobia and stuff like that. They have that shit there. So even if you move over to this new system, that shit's still gonna be there. Mm-hmm. So how do you take care of that? That doesn't solve the fucking problem.
Yeah, and it was the Scottsboro boys. Yeah, my bad.
So it's just
also, there's this other problem too that happens, which is that these are academic discussions. These are not solutions to real problems. No one has any idea how to enact these solutions.
Right.
And they would be far more honest individuals if they just said
it's like if I said, why don't we invent teleportation technology?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, theoretically I can say a lot of shit, but it ain't gonna happen and it's not real. So what the fuck am I really saying?
Well, not only that, but it's not in this moment, right? Like, so even if, I've been saying this, it's like, all right, cool, let's move towards that socialist society, all right? Let's say I'm on board with that, which, quite frankly, okay, I'm fine with that. That's not gonna happen. Like, I've had somebody who goes like, I'm like, that's not gonna happen in our lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm. And you know what it's going to take? It's going to take what the Russians did, which was either you have to leave if you're like pro-Tsarist Russia, or you get re-educated.
Right.
And you get folded back into Soviet society.
And that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like, it goes back to your original point, which is, in order to do this, in order to get what you want, this is not going to be a bloodless revolution.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be people, and I just, like, look at the capitalist society we're in. Let me see if I can find that article.
I mean, it's going to be just the idea of people having to leave their home country because they refuse to capitulate, or if you stay because you don't have the means to leave and you're forced to go into the system, that is violence.
Right. Also, the right people don't even have the fucking guns. I don't even know what they're talking about. Socialist Twitter ain't even gun Twitter.
Right.
It's so fucking stupid, man. It makes me more mad because it reminds me of like when people have academic arguments while someone's humanity hangs in the balance.
Right.
Like,
okay, you'd rather get the retweets and you'd rather get the likes rather than to be like, okay, so what do we do with the system we have? Because essentially what happens is you get more pats on the back on in a lot of circles on Twitter with a small circle of people that are really fervently like in each other's corner. But you get a lot of social media, capital by being like, I'm so woke, I don't like nothing. Like, I don't like the president.
As you tweet from your iPhone.
Mm-hmm. That's just flat out nihilism.
Right. As you consume the products of a capitalist society and engage in it yourself. But like you said, it's okay when you do it. And that's my problem. It's like, listen, like you're not all in. And you understand there's nuances to this, but you don't want to for this argument. This goes back to what I was saying. The other problem we face with this, right? There was an article I saw in Bloomberg this week, and I tweeted out a little bit of it. And the problem that we face with this in moving from, let's say capitalism is bad, we move to socialism, right? Let's say somehow it fixes all the racism and bigotry in the world if we move to that system, right? At the end of the day, we still got to deal with the fact that as human creatures, we get really jealous when the person next to us has more than we have, and when there's not somebody that we can say we're better than. That doesn't matter what system you're in, whether it's capitalism, socialism, whatever. That's a cultural thing with human beings. That's just what we do. All right. There's an article in Bloomberg this week that says People think they are middle class whether they make $22,000 a year or $200,000 a year. So I'm going to read these things for you. So here we go. So the 9.7% of Americans' households earn between $20,000 and $30,000 a year. The median household income is $56,149 a year. All right, median household. So here we go. So Brittany, she's a 22-year-old mother of two, works in Valley Fair Amusement Park, lives with her mom in Lakeville, Minnesota. We're middle class. She makes $22,000 a year. We're middle class. We're not poor. We can't afford the kids, but we're not poor. You don't have to have you don't have any credit being young. I can't afford school. Can't afford the education to get the job to the right place. I could be making the cure for cancer, but no, you all don't want to put me in college, so I can't afford it. She's poor, but she doesn't want to be called poor because the stigma attached to it. She wants to be called middle class. So here's Lona, 72, retired, lives in Edna, Minnesota. She makes $40,000 a year. I saw some beautiful things in Nordstrom, but I couldn't afford them. I'm not middle class. Not now. I used to be. I'm on a fixed income. I'm a retiree. She makes $40,000 a year. I think the median household. I said the median household income was 56, but that's probably that's a family income. She's 40,000. Just like 16,000 underneath everybody else. All right. So here goes Alex. He's shopping with his wife, who's a nurse. He's 28. They earn $95,000 a year. We have to make sacrifices for things that we want. Right now, we've been slowly remodeling our house. We saved a lot of money during our doing stuff ourselves. I laid all the tiles with Audrey's dad in our house, and we've done all the painting. We've done all that just to save money. They're over the median income. Well over the median income. Anna, 61. Former hotel and restaurant owner. Lives in Chicago, Illinois, originally from Poland. We should be middle class. By the way, she makes $150,000 a year. We should be the middle class, but I think for several years we are not. We had several businesses. We worked hard. I worked 35 years in the business, built it up, and then in 2010, lost like $7 million. Sorry, I had to pause there.
So she had $7 million at some point.
And lost it.
She had enough to lose $7 million, but she was middle. Now she thought that was doing middle class.
But now she's middle class because now she should be middle class. She's making $150,000 a year, but she doesn't believe she's middle class now. Because basically what happens is people that are poor want to call themselves middle class. People that are well above middle class still want to consider themselves middle class. We live a comfortable life there before. And now we're just living from check to check. We're definitely supporting Trump. I came here 35 years ago. You could do anything in this country. You could start from nothing. Well, 35 years ago, you couldn't do anything if you were black. I'm just saying. You could start from nothing. It's still a beautiful country, so I'm hoping for the best. At least my children graduated. 3 of them are doctors, so hopefully the medical school is going to get them somewhere. Again, she lost $7 million. They're making $150,000 a year now.
Middle class.
And her kids, her 3 kids, all went to medical school.
Middle class.
Middle class.
You know, this is the result of politicians just kissing the ass of the middle class as they continue to fuck them. Because it's smaller than ever right now, actually. But it's funny because everyone buys into that bullshit of the ass kissing, and everybody wants those things to apply to them. So they want to be known as hardworking. They want to be known as people that work their way up, pull themselves up out of bootstraps, believe in the American dream. They want all the accolades of it, but not the money of it. They would much rather be richer, or, you know, if you're poor, you don't want to be known as poor, because we admonish the poor. We feel like America's a meritocracy, and anyone that is poor because they deserve to be. Anyone that's rich is rich because they deserve to be. And, you know, it makes sense to a lot of people. It makes sense on why we fucking have so much, why people voted for Trump and shit.
And be fair, socialism does not fix this problem. People are always going to feel this way.
I want to know if socialism is anyone rich. These are questions I have, because people throw out, like, every time I ask a question about, like, some socialism shit, people just get mad at me.
So here's the thing about that. And again, just going back to Soviet era, you know, Russia and its satellites, you still had a rigid class system.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
has anyone ever transitioned a capitalist system to a social system, to a socialist one? You know what I mean? Like, these are the questions. People get mad at me because they'll be like, socialism, we need to do that. That's what's wrong with you niggas. I'm like, okay, cool. Can you give me an example what I should expect our country to look like after we switch over? Like, what, like, you have these ideas. What, you know, do you think this is the solution?
We'll get universal health care, Rod.
Right. Like, why is it an insult? You suggested something to me. You are now insulted by the fact that I would go, okay, I'm listening. Can you, like, give me an example? I'll go look it up myself. You don't have to, you don't have to
teach you.
Spend all day on Twitter explaining it. I literally just give me the name of the country. I'll go Google, find out what the fuck happened. I'll read a book. I don't mind looking it up myself. And they really just get mad at me. And one dude even got, like, he just went all night at me about it. And then he goes, and then I'm like, okay, so I guess you don't have an example. And then he was just like, well, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. I was like, oh, okay. Well then, I mean, I guess it's a good idea. Like, teleportation's a good idea.
Like, it says, you know what it is? You know where they get it from? It's like Star Trek. Like, you know, when you go to Star Trek, Earth is a global system. The Federation is global now, and everything's a utopia. You never see poor people on Earth in Star Trek. Right. But what they don't tell you, I believe there was a giant war that wiped out like most of the population. Like, that's the shit they never tell you. Whenever you see these movies and things like that have the utopian society where everything just works and everybody has a job. Yeah, because you knock down the population down to about like 1 million people. Right. It's that Bill Burr joke. It's like, yo, we knocked down the population to like 30,000 people. Yo, man, like, you can everybody can be a football player. Like, you know, like you can knock shit down. That shit makes certain they don't work in real life. All right, going forward. Here's David, a lawyer, 45, lives in Minnesota, makes $200,000 a year. I would describe myself as middle class. Me and my wife and I have 4 kids. We both work. We do fine. $200,000 a year. You know, we're not in poverty by any stretch. We probably do better than most, but we don't live in a lake house with 50,000 square feet, right? With 5,000 square feet. For tax purposes, we're probably in the top 3 to 4% income earners, but we don't make $500,000 a year. We don't make $1 million a year, right? And David is what I get to when people go with this idea, right? I'm like, there's always going to be that, like, all you need to break the system in any of this stuff. Because the same thing happened with capitalism, to be honest. Like, capitalism itself isn't inherently bad. What happens is you get somebody going, well, couldn't I make more? And then everything goes downhill. Because that becomes what everybody decides to do. It's just what it is. Okay, they don't have another one. But so $200,000 a year, and this guy still thinks, he's still thinking to himself that, well, he's not making $1 million. So.
Well, that's the other thing, too, right? Go back to the Heineken commercial. What are we supposed to do with all these delusional people? What happens in your plan for that? Because
they go to the camps.
So much time arguing about the left and what the left thinks and what everybody else on the left supposed to think, and what the even more tinier groups of people like the black left and shit. You spend so much time fighting and fussing and yelling at these people, and it's like, so then when do you take the time to convince the other 87% of America that your plan is the right plan? Even, like, that's my problem with so much of this shit. Say Cornel West convinces 100% of black people and 100% of activists to go start another party. Then what? What are we going to do with our 13% of the fucking voting populace? What are we supposed to do? It's not enough to do anything on its own. So we're going to need some type of coalition. Like it already is fucked up. And then you're looking at us and blaming us for the fact that the world is fucked up. I, as a black person, ain't responsible for none of this shit. You know what I mean? And as far as other black people, even the ones that come at me and say this stupid shit, I still am not mad at you, dog. Like, really, I know that you're just in pain. Like, this is just you need a utopian solution in your brain that you're convinced is just the world is scared to try it. Cool. Good luck convincing other people. Don't start with my black ass. Start with some people that can do something.
And that's where it comes. Like, I never want to get, like, I get mad at these people at the same time. It's like, I know also you're doing this because you're hurt. Like, and if you're in that, when you're in the bottom, you want to find a way to top. It's no different than what they say. Well, no, I mean, don't say it's not the same, but it's the argument, because it's not this, and I don't believe this, but it's the argument the media makes about Trump voters, right? That they voted for Trump not because of racism, but because of economic anxiety. So they just want to shake things up. Well, you see what happened when you just shake things up, right? You know, when you shake things up without a fucking plan, it's a fucking disaster. So I'm fine, again, if we say that we want to do this. But you're not going to go from going 200 miles an hour in a capitalist society to slamming on the brake and going 200 miles an hour in the opposite direction. That's not going to work. You need some way of moving in there, and I haven't seen that. And the people that you have in the forefront that are white, because again, this movement has to start with white people. Because honestly, like I said, you get 100% of the black people on board with this shit. White people have proven time and time again that when they see black people doing shit, they'll come in and they'll knock the shit down. All right?
Yep.
So we know that historically. All right? So you're going to get white people. So then you look at the white people who are leading these movements. You get people like Bernie fucking Sanders, who is specifically avoiding any talk about destroying white supremacy and racism. So you're going to get these people on board with some of your socialist ideas, but you're allowing them to bring with them the ideas of, you know, racism, bigotry, and all this other stuff with them. Well, then that's not the socialist society that you're looking for.
Right. It's black people need jobs. Okay, cool. Are they gonna apply for these jobs? And if so, who's the person in charge of approving it?
And I still don't think these people understand what socialism is. I still don't think that they understand that it's like, once you switch over, it's just like, so okay, the workers have more power, okay, but I mean, there's, like you said, there's still a class system. There's still gonna be people who like what do you think is happening? I want to know.
I mean, maybe like the best example is the UK. Because if after, you know, 2 world wars, like they essentially were destitute. Like half the country was destroyed because of the Blitz. You had, you know, soldiers coming back that, you know, clearly needed care and support. You had families out of, I mean, that's really how the NHS started. Mm-hmm. So there had to be the political will to do it. And everyone essentially, you know, it's a massive pot. You have the NHS. Everyone is a part of it. And if you're rich, yeah, you can opt out. But for the most part, if you're an average Joe Schmo in UK, you're using the NHS. You know, same thing with like unions. And it was really, it only happened after something devastating happened. Like, so it's probably going to take the level of something like the UK after World War II for something like that to happen.
And there's still racism and Islamophobia and a whole bunch of bullshit.
Oh yeah,
like all that stuff is still there. Like all that stuff is still there, and that's the problem. It's like that stuff is still there. It does not go. So the problems that are keeping you down right now are still going to exist. You get a little sway here and there of things getting a little bit better, like probably better healthcare, some better schooling. That's great. But if you still have the racist people at the top who have all the money, who are still making all the decisions, who can still discriminate against you, that's the fucking problem there. And until you fix that, doesn't matter what fucking economic system we go to. And I'm just like, I just like, no matter, even in sci-fi, when we have this utopian society, like you said, they all come with, one, there being some kind of devastating thing that happens that creates this society and creates people who go into this, right? Mm-hmm. Two, and it's a big talking point through every fucking sci-fi thing you ever see. There's always an underclass that is being ignored. Always. Right. There's always an underclass that people go, oh, I didn't know these poor people existed. Oh yeah, because you guys fucking forgot about this. Because now more people are happy, and you forgot about us all underneath here. There's always going to be people there. And so I feel like some people, it's just... yeah.
I just want to know what the fuck is supposed to happen.
It's kind of like The Walking Dead. It's like The Sanctuary.
Yeah, I just want to know what's supposed to happen with the rest of the world. Like, you concentrating on one nigga on Twitter, arguing with him all day. Cool. That gives you a focal point for your anger and for you to vent and moan and all this shit. What are you going to do with these socialist ideas you want to expose to the world? Why aren't they taking wildfire to this country you claim is really ready for this shit? I don't see it picking up. That's all I'm saying. End of the day, the pragmatic part of me is like, you do realize the problem with everything is humans.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do the things you're saying. You know, like, it's not just like at the end of the day, people do want to identify with rich people. They do, you know what I'm saying?
They
like, they
keep up
do
with the
want to
Joneses.
be rich, but seen as hardworking. Poor people want to be rich and root for rich people, even at their own oppression. Racist people don't mind risking death to say, fuck these niggers. Like, they don't mind being like, well, I guess my Obamacare gonna get killed off, but as long as these black people don't get it, I'm okay with that. These are the real issues that are out here. This is where we're at as a society, and motherfuckers want to argue pie in the sky notions that just ain't gonna happen. Like, we're not at Marvel level problems as a society where we can discuss these tiny little nuanced things about, well, if we switch it this way, we can just switch to socialism. We're not there yet.
And you know, and I think, and I've always said this, and I try to get people to understand it when I bring these up. It's not about me being pro capitalism and just so anti-social. This is like, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't trust people. I do not like people. I do not trust people. I do not believe in the goodness of people. I do not. I believe that when given the opportunity, a lot of people will do some fucked up shit over time. Over a long enough timeline, people eventually do that shit. They start breaking the rules, and that just happens. So this idea that, you know, like when people go, oh, well, you know, we just get this society and everybody works and we'll get rid of poverty and all this. I'm like, that's so great. That's like me saying that if we all just stop killing each other, there will be no crime.
Right.
And you know what? I know enough about watch enough of the ID channel to know some motherfuckers ain't killing because they have to. You know, yeah, sure, there will be some crime that goes down because, you know, some crime is economic based and blah 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 blah. But a lot of crime is also based on people being greedy, some people being jealous, some people just not liking a nigga. You know, that's just what it is. I literally saw one where a dude stabbed this girl because she asked him for gas money.
Right.
Like,
What?
She asked him for gas money.
Someone that she knew?
It was her friend's boyfriend. Yeah.
Is she alive?
She's dead. Dead. All right? This shit happens. People do this. All right?
Dude, why? People can't even get along on Twitter, but they think we can reform the economic system of America. You can't even navigate Twitter without insulting somebody till they block you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so silly. Like, I guess that's the part that I'm just over, is like, it's so fruitless. Even if you won a debate on Twitter, what would it change? It's why I'm not interested in exchanges with these people of, like, seriously trying to convince them of anything. It's like people just literally hear what they want to hear. I said, you not going to be able to stop black people from liking the Obamas out of office. And motherfuckers really was mad. Like, oh, so you think it's okay to kill people in Africa?
The
what?
leap, yo. Yeah, it's just... It also comes down to that whole thing of, like, you know, you like the Obamas and you just think they're perfect. And I'm like, no, I know they're flawed. Like, I said, so you think we can't criticize Obama? Like, no, I want him treated like the imperfect president he was, like all the other presidents before him. And he was the least imperfect. Compared to other people's imperfections, he's probably the best one we've had. So, yeah, I don't give a shit about him making 400. Like, yes, he should be able to get with all the shit he put up with. Come on.
Let's just go to the ultimate point. What was I supposed to do with my vote in 2008 and 2012?
Well, obviously you're supposed to vote third party, even though they wouldn't have won, and then we would have got McCain and Palin, and then we wouldn't, you know, it's just.
Because I asked everybody, because when people were saying, like, the thing that sparked this was a question, essentially, which was, okay, y'all don't want black people to like the Obamas. I mean, it ain't gonna happen, but cool. It's anti-black the way y'all treat people for just liking the Obamas. But as opposed to what? As opposed to who? People got mad at me and said, so I can't criticize the Obamas? Never said that. Not a single person. It's been since this morning. Not one person brought up an alternative. The questions are right there at the bottom of the fucking thing. Who and what should black people be supporting? What are we missing? Like you're so adamant that we are inferior and we don't know what the fuck we're doing our voting and all this shit. Who? Give me a name. Give me a person that is flawless, that fits all the criteria, that wouldn't bomb any other country, that wouldn't be responsible for any war, that wouldn't have a drone strike, that also would know to intervene in other countries' oppression, but not intervene in the right country. Like, who, dog? Because if you don't have a fucking answer, you're wasting everyone's time trying to look smarter than everyone on Twitter. But it's just like that Key and Peele skit where the dude picks on the guy for liking Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, and eventually dude is like, wait a minute. You just mock everybody because you don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you don't...
Well, it's safe. It goes back to the election when people are like, well, man, I guess I'm with her. I guess I'm going to vote for Hillary. That's the best we could. Oh, so you just think she... I'm like, no. It's like, I have two choices. I have Obama. I mean, I have Hillary Clinton. I got Trump. I don't want Trump nigga to win, so I'm gonna vote for Hillary. They don't have to be happy about it, but like those are the two choices. So you can vote third party, and we can start. I'm like, but we're not starting a movement in 6 months. We're not doing that. That ain't gonna work. That party ain't gonna win. You got to start that. Like, start it now. Start now. Like, and that's the other thing too. It's like, yo, if you want people to vote for these third parties, like instead of just telling folks, oh, y'all stupid, y'all, you can at least educate us about the parties. You do that groundwork and get people, but you're not. You think you're so superior to us, thinking that we haven't looked into these parties and gone, yeah, y'all don't have all the answers either.
Right.
You know, like you
made
need
a different decision than me. Therefore, you're stupid.
Right.
One thing I never said and didn't even get into with black people about this shit is I'm avoiding saying stuff like y'all stupid for voting third party. Y'all stupid for not doing this and the other. Because it's like at the end of the day, if I'm being real, white people got this dude elected.
Mm-hmm.
White people have historically ruined this country and historically dominated and killed our people. I don't have a thing that black people were supposed to do that they didn't do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Anything beyond the limits of actual human, allowing people to be human is what I'm saying. So like, unless you're going to say 100% of black people are supposed to do something, then I don't know what you want me to say because that's not a realistic answer. Human beings don't do that. You know, like even if in a society where we can only pick two choices and one choice is 100% racist against black people, you're still going to have black people that vote for the racist people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a human thing. We can't solve for that by arguing about it on Twitter or Facebook or whatever the fuck. So it's kind of interesting to see people basically resort to blaming other black people.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was going to do a Great Moments of White Privilege, but I like the conversation we're having. I wanted to add some more things. So we're going to not do a Great Moments of White Privilege today. It was stupid. It was basically, I think Yale College Republicans did a barbecue while across from a hunger strike because they're fucking evil shitstorms. But it goes back to the other thing that I've noticed about this stuff when people talk about Obama and stuff like that. And again, I feel like this is a safe space to talk about this stuff. I feel like a lot of the people, especially other black people who get on us about, you know, supporting Obama even now, I feel like a lot of them are projecting the fact that for some reason they didn't look deep enough into Obama and understand politics enough to understand what he was saying and selling. Cause I see a lot of times like, y'all didn't know that he was a capitalist. I'm like, well, no, I knew that.
Right.
Well, you didn't know that he was going to do this and this. I'm like, well, no, I knew and accepted that. Like, I was okay with that. Like,
yeah.
I look at it like, I'm like, yo, you're telling that Obama didn't get enough done. I look at it like, because I know the history of politicians and presidents before him, I'm amazed he got so much shit done, you know? And so I always get in these arguments, people are like, you have to say he's perfect. I'm like, no, the opposite. I went in at 50% already on Obama because I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it's the best we get. We'll see what this nigga can do. And I was impressed because the bar is so low for presidents of the United States already. He raised the bar, and now I'm looking at these people and I'm like, wait, you never paid attention to politics before this. This is your first president. Mm-hmm. And you have no sense of idea about what's really going on. It's like you all of a sudden learn something new about capitalism today. And I'm like, and now you want to go out there and tell everybody, and you're literally like those people I met in college who, like the Lyndon LaRouche people who sat there and, yeah, those dumb motherfuckers who got a little book and all of a sudden, like, actually, no bullshit, my Lon Brothers roommate at one point ended up getting in with them, black guy, ended up getting in with the Lyndon LaRouche people. And they were just, I'm like, you got this little bit of knowledge, you got just enough knowledge to be dangerous. Mm-hmm. And you never went deeper than that. And now all of a sudden you think that this is the answer. Like you look at things as black and white. I've always looked at politics, especially in this country. It's a lot of fucking gray. A lot of it's rarely black and white. It's a lot of different shades of gray. You know, we started talking about the Predator 2. And when you watch Predator 2, that movie opens up. And when you watch it again in 2017, what really hits you, and we talked about this in the nostalgia review. So you want to hear more about this, get premium. That movie is so heavy, it's so 90s, because it's so heavy on the Super Predator idea. And we broke it down, we're like, oh my goodness. So Hillary Clinton said Super Predators in like 95. I think she was watching nothing but like the action movies of the 90s. Because all it was. Like in 90, I think Predator was 90, I think. So that was it opens up with literally a gang war of brown people. You know, and you had the racist Jamaican gangs also there. You had, and that was supposed to be set in 1997. You know, I think Devil Militia Man is 93, and that's set in like 96 is the future for them, and it's just again Super Predator, Wesley Snipes, and all that was the idea back then. We know now how terrible that shit is and how wrong it is. But that was a mindset of the 90s. So many times, so many of these people, they wake up and they just learn about, and they hear these things that happened in the 90s. They didn't live through it and see it. And you're like, oh, no, we were all wrong then. Like, it was a lot of wrong behavior. Some of our parents, you know, some of our family, some of our friends, the black church. Like, there's a lot of really wrong, problematic shit that happened there that we learned from, and we're now better. But there's a lot of context you're missing if you just look at it as a black and white thing. And then people go forward with politics the same way. It's like, you look at Obama, it's like, well, he's in bed. He didn't jail the Wall Street. I'm like, yo, he was never going to be able to do that. The system we have right now, he was never going to do that. But they also didn't like him. And that's progress. We had they just don't do that. It's very, very fucking frustrating.
There's no utopian society, dog. There's no, like, people love to go back and paint this idea that President Obama was this king, like this dude who, like, just the position of president means you rain down on America, you tell them what you will and won't do, and then they just go out and do it for you because that's what the king wants. But this isn't Game of Thrones, man. Even Trump can't get America to just do what he wants because he says. Mm-hmm. And that motherfucker is trying. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Like literally, there are political theorists that for decades have been talking about the consolidation of power into the presidency. Like you read a lot of things about the imperial presidency is just being able to take like all these like unitary actions against other countries, and how much is the president allowed to do without the consent of Congress. Like that has been an issue with the United States. I'm going to say at least as far back as Reagan with all the shit that he pulled in Latin America. Though it probably does, precede that. So, there's just this refusal.
Yeah, I just wish that people would stop trying to revise history and trying to make things so simple when it wasn't simple. But it fits in 140 characters. Essentially the math I was saying was, okay, black people aren't supposed to love Obama. Cool, got it. So they do. What are you gonna do about it? Because I don't think it's gonna ever change. And it was like, well, so then y'all cool with him bombing people in Africa and killing black people? I said, okay, cool. So essentially, the math you're doing is 93% of black women that voted to kill black people in Africa. Is that what we're doing?
They look at so many. it's always it goes back to the Bernie Sanders thing, where
They're so myopic,
right? Where Wall Street is bad, but him supporting an anti-choice, anti-women reproductive rights candidate is okay. It's like, so where's the line? Like, that's what I want to know. Where's the line? What do you support? You know, when you say we should support this and support that, like, I almost wanted to ask every one of the black people that were in my mentions, like, oh, so what's your opinion on transgender rights? You know, what's your opinion on? Because some of them will say they're on the right side, but I have a feeling that a good 50% of them would probably be the wrong place. You know, so am I supposed to just like what are we supposed to do with that? So you're talking about this one thing, Wall Street is bad, all this other stuff is bad. But you're okay if you know, with homophobia and transphobia and all, you know, you want the social. You talk about some of the socialist movements with some of these black people and their misogyny and stuff like that. Like, so what's up with that? Like, there are so many other things here. It's not that simple. But we can have
a
these.
Dude told me this morning I shouldn't like Obama or defend that he's getting money for speeches. Because I have too many people that follow me on Twitter and I'm misleading them and my influence is too much and
that sounds like jealousy.
Yeah, and I shouldn't be verified by Twitter. Okay, that's what he said. By the end of this discussion, he was talking about he could fuck my wife.
What?
Yeah, but he was trying to insult me, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so what was the line why was my tweets the leader of the free world tweets and your tweets where you get to say you're gonna fuck my wife in order to insult me, there's no decorum that is required for you. Like, that is essentially where I come from with this, like with some of this political theory shit on social media. None of the rules apply to the people that are claiming a society needs to operate by their rules. Well, I can personally be greedy and say get my coins, but other people that are doing better than me can't. It's fine up to where I'm at.
You know what it reminds me of? I got it because we watch American Dad. It's that episode of American Dad where Steve and them, they become the announcer over the mic.
Yes.
And each one of them, you're like, so what happens is they end up convincing the school announcer gets a little full of himself and tells on an open mic, tells Steve and them, no, I control this. I control whatever goes on. And they're like, oh, this guy's corrupt. He just said in front of the school. It needs to be one of us. So they take over, start doing it, and they get more and more power. And then they become him. And it keeps happening to each one of them. They each become the person they hate. But that's what these people do. Like, it's like you think that somehow if you had this power and stuff, you would be better. But that's not always the case.
Dude, let's look at it another way. Let's say we found out that the Obamas only get offered $50,000 to speak. How many people would be fucking livid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the black, they don't get enough money to speak? Like these other motherfuckers get millions of dollars when they leave office? Y'all offering the black people the least? Nigga, like, it's just, people don't think about the world this way. I think of shit as alternatives. Like, what were the feasible solutions? What were the feasible outcomes? Let's discuss that. Then there's people that just come in and be like, what if they could just fly? You're like, oh, you want to have an argument about something that doesn't happen so you can be mad. Like, essentially the end result is you want to be mad at everyone For a lot of these people, that's what I've realized. They feel powerless. They've been hurt. They're under the same stress we're all under in this economy and with this presidential cabinet and shit. We're all feeling the pressure. But there's some people that they wake up every day mad and they need people to be mad at. And that's part of the thing, is finding motherfuckers to be mad at all goddamn day, regardless of what they believe or don't believe. Nobody can be as woke as you. Nobody can agree with you. Nobody can be on your side. It has to be an army of one all day because you're powerless. You don't have any effect on anything outside of the 140 characters in them tweets, dog.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. All right, well, that went on way longer than I thought, but it was a good discussion, and we need to get that shit out, I think. It's annoying. It's annoying. Anyway, let the Obamas get their fucking money. I hope they become billionaires. Fuck them. Let them. I mean, I'm sorry. At this point, Like, until the system changes, I believe black people should be allowed to make their money. As long as it's not directly, made on the backs of destroying other white people. Because here's the thing. Nobody knows what the speech is about. Other than it's at a healthcare conference.
Nobody don't want to see people complaining unless they eating boiled potatoes and living on a commune. That's all. Like, I'm gonna need y'all to live these words y'all talking before we take you. For I'm supposed to take you at your word that if you got offered 400,000, you be like, sorry.
But here's the thing: if they were eating boiled potatoes and living in a commune, we'd be joking them for doing exactly that.
I'm gonna need these people to live that life if they want to take shots at everybody else. That's all I'm asking. Just live your words, dog. Until then, you recognize the same problem we've all run into, which is that it ain't really feasible to be the first nigga socialist. Like, nobody want to be the first fucking communist, dog. And until in a capitalist society, nobody wants to do that. Until you live in that shit, man, you really ain't got shit to say.
So is Afro and Sickle Twitter under the same umbrella as Afro Tinfoil Twitter and Alt-Right Hotep Twitter?
No, cause I think because you know what, as upsetting as Afro and Sickle Twitter makes me, like, and this is why it's so frustrating arguing with them. They make good points. Like, I understand where they're coming from, and a lot of times I agree with them on certain things. They just haven't taken the next step of going, so what's the next step?
What's the practical application?
Right. What's the practical application? Like,
there's a lot of people that really get off on the fact that they can point out that something's a problem, but they don't realize that that's not the end. Like,
yeah, this is like theoretical. This is like quantum physics. Like, yeah, you can develop there's a math problem for it. But it's not. It's theory still.
It's that commercial. I can't remember. Was it like Safe Light or whatever? That commercial was like, well, I'm a bank monitor. I just tell you when there's a robbery. I don't actually do anything about it. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like, okay, so you're telling me that capitalism is bad, socialism is good, but you don't actually have the. You're going to tell me to read a book about Marx to tell me like that's not that doesn't help.
Right. It's the Pootie Tang effect. Where we're all sitting around like, damn, it's hot out here. And you're like, it's hot out here. And then they show up and they're like, and it's hot too. And we're like, nigga, we arrived at that conclusion that, this system is fucked up a while ago. So we're now on do you got any ideas how to fix this shit? Because if not, I'm going to keep going to work to get a check to pay my bills. Until let me know when the alternative pops up. When it comes to the voting system and with my vote that they're specifically trying to suppress, I'm going to probably vote for the least racist person.
Yeah.
Every time. That's probably going to be the way I roll with mine. Let me know when you get done with that solution thing, and I'll do what the thing you think we should do.
Yeah. I'm on board.
You're just yelling at me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, I'll be honest. With all the problems he would have had, I'd probably I feel a little bit more safer and comfortable with Hillary Clinton as president right now. Doesn't mean that it would have been the end of solution to everything and that there wouldn't be bombs in Africa and all that. No, that shit would still be there. But we'd actually be having conversations about that. We're not having conversations about that right now. Why? Because we're still hoping this motherfucker is not going to start a nuclear war with fucking, North Korea. So I'm just saying there's levels to this shit. And I'd rather deal with Hillary Clinton problems right now than Donald Trump problems. I'm just saying.
Gotta be practical. A Donald Trump that admitted that he would rather be back in his old life doing his.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. We didn't even do This Week in Trump today because, he thought the presidency would be easier.
There's no punchline to that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, on that, let's move to the Black Woman Shout Out of the Week. Like I said, we're skipping over everything else. So we've been doing this for almost 3 hours now. So I got 2 here. We got the first. Let me pull this up. Here we got some sent. So, this one was sent to me. Joy Lindsay runs a literacy program, Butterfly Dreams, as dreams with a Z at the end. It's www.butterflydreams.org. Again, dreams has a Z at the end. The program seeks to develop literacy and leadership skills in our kids, and teach them how to be writers. She, along with her partner, Jessica Bailey, are also doing a scholarship competition called hashtag BisonWrite. It's bisonwrite.com. Starts March 31st and is unique because students competing are writing an inspirational young adult book about Howard's rich legacy. So check both of those out. I'll be putting those in the show notes. And the other one I have here is called Cite a Sister, CITE, Cite a Sister. Is both a project and a movement. Cite a Sister, launched as a once monthly Twitter chat to serve as a space to uplift and center the voices and contributions of Black women in the United States and abroad. Since its inception, Cite a Sister has expanded to include a website with monthly columns on issues important to Black women, from higher education and healthcare over 50 to motherhood and parenting. They have an event. They're hosting their first Black Women Empowering and Networking event on October 6th, 2007 at 7 p.m. in McDonough, Georgia, just south of Atlanta Airport. The event features several speakers' opportunities to coalesce with other Black women and much more. You can find them on Twitter and their website there. And let's see, have a little bit more information on the event. The ticket sales actually began on April 7th, so the tickets are still there. And they're welcome to any and all free press. So I'm hoping that I can get LaToya to reach out to them and get them on there. So I'll put the link to their the Eventbrite and to their website in the show notes. You can find them there. And then also just a continuation of last week's one, because I believe that the first episode is coming out this week. But I just want to remind everyone about Elle Joy's new show, Sunday Civics. She has her Patreon out there right now, so please sign up and become a Patreon and help her out. I've seen a clip from this. It's going to be really, really good and really informative. So if you want to see and hear about Black women, working and doing stuff with politics and civics, please check out her show, Sunday Civics. It'll be really good, and support them. She definitely needs it. I know she's really nervous about this stuff, but it's like, I've seen what she's worked on, what she's done. I've seen some of the clips. It's really, really good. So support them. So, all right, I'll ask you two. Do you guys have anyone you guys want to shout out for your Black woman shout out? Rod?
I would actually give a shout out to my girl. She's number one feeling on Twitter, like NO1 the number one feeling. But she sent us some beauty products and a bunch of candy too. But she has natural hair and beauty products in the wake of this Shea Moisture shakedown. I feel like maybe people should check her out. It's called Born Beautiful, BOURN, Beautiful Naturals, and you can find bornbeautifulnaturals.weebly.com is the website, and you can email her at bbnaturalsuk@gmail.com. They have handcrafted products for naturally curly, kinky hair and healthy, radiant skin. They also have vegetarian products, bespoke hair care consultations, and blogging and videos.
Awesome. Check them out. Patty, you got?
What was that website again? Born, BOURN.
Yeah, BOURN, Beautiful Naturals .weebly, WEEBLEY. I mean LY, no E, sorry. WEEBLY.com.
Cool.
Yeah,
I became an accidental natural about a week ago.
What, you go swimming or something? You got in the rain?
No, when I took out my braids, I kind of messed it up, and the shit got so tangled I had to take scissors to my entire head. So luckily I had a good deal of new growth. So yeah, definitely can't have the braids in too long, and I had them in just a few weeks too long. So I know now.
Sorry to hear that, man. But I mean, welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Do you have a black woman shout out?
I will have to shout out the ladies behind BLK Proverbs, because I ordered my bruh shirt and my Not Today Satan mug. So, and it came really, really quickly. I ordered it on a Friday. I think I got it on a Tuesday. It was insanely fast shipping. And I'm just waiting for that other mug to come in where I spend 3 wishes wishing a nigga would. I need that one to come back in stock. Because I showed a couple coworkers from work, And they also want to buy that mug, though we clearly can't have it at work, but they definitely want some. So.
That's awesome. Well, again, here Black Women with a Business to shout out. Email us at bwbusiness@mtrnetwork.net. Again, Latoya's reaching out to people. I think while we were doing this, she actually sent me some stuff. She put some stuff in the Dropbox. I saw it pop up for her next show, so stay tuned for that coming out this week, hopefully. Also, I think that's about it. I think it's about time to get out of here. Rod, please tell everyone, well, they should already know where they get you, but please tell people where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, man. Follow me on Twitter, Rodimus Prime, all one word. Unless you like a super left radical black socialist, then I understand if you don't want to follow me. You can also listen to our podcast, The Blackout Tips. It's on iTunes, on Stitcher. Podomatic is a podcast I do with my wife 5 days a week. The motto of the show is nothing's wrong if it's funny. And check us out there, and we'll gladly see you. And if you're premium, you can go to blackouttips.com/premium. You can sign up to be premium, and you can actually hear a bunch of other shows, but specifically we do a podcast about nerd stuff that has Chris on it heavily, like pretty much every other week. Sit down and chop up this nerd shit.
Yeah, definitely. Like I actually, that might be one of the sticking points with the new job. It's like, yeah, so I'm gonna need every other Friday off because I got a nerd show I got to do that I can't. Or either I'm gonna be sitting in my fucking car for 2.5 hours. Yeah. So again, guys, thank you guys for. We're not gonna play that. Oh, there we go. Fucking play. There we go. Thank you guys for listening. You can find myself and Petty Cougar on the NPR network. Eventually, at some point, we'll do a Scarestalgia. I know she's saying that maybe not, but at least hear you on the next Docu-Drunks episode.
Yeah,
soon.
It'll be lit.
It'll be lit. Again, we'll be back this week with all our new shows. Rounding out, we got Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., obviously. We'll be back. I'm got to talk to Deepon, but I'm hoping next Sunday we'll also wrap up Green Lanterns with another character corner. First one in May. And get that one knocked out. And don't forget to check out all the other shows coming out. Like I said, Secret Sauce is out there. As soon as we get to 5 episodes, we'll have its own RSS feed out there. Subscribe to Unanimous Decision. And stay tuned. Oh, wait. Let me just go ahead and pause this real quick. So, everybody knows this week, hopefully, we'll be changing over to mtrnetwork.net. We'll hopefully have this new site design. It's really slick and really cool. Petty's seen it. It's really cool, right?
I approve.
Yeah, she approves. She's also seen the new shirts that we're going to have designed, which are really, really cool. So, I'm really excited about that. Shout out to Jamie Hill. I'm going to put his information in the show notes as well. He did a really good job of designing those out there. So he's been really, really helpful for that. And I'm appreciative. And I'm hoping that shortly after we get the site up, we'll be able to get the shirts out and people can start getting those shirts. They're really, really fucking cool. And I want everybody to see them. So stay tuned for all of that. New site coming. Going away from movie trailer. This is going to be like our third website. We went from a Sandy Report to movie trailer reviews. So hopefully MTR Network is the last stop. But it's just everything we're doing here, man. We're doing a lot. So stay tuned. Till next time, we're out of here. Thanks, Rod. Peace.
Thank you.